Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with River Brown and John Tortorelli. This is episode 559. Drew is out with the flu. Dels is in Florida on a special trip. So we're three-man weaving it today, and there's a lot to talk about. We had NBA history happen, not only from Bam Adebayo, but from SGA passing Wilt Chamberlain's record of consecutive 20-point per games.
Does that go into the playoffs?
It doesn't. It's only regular season. So people have complained about it, but I mean, Wilt had 126 games of 20 points. Now Shai has 127, so he surpassed that. And Shai is still going on, so we'll see how far he goes with it. And then we're going to talk about football. There's a lot of free agency moves that happen after we recorded our last episode. So we'll go over a more revised version of free agency winners, talking about some of the best moves that happen.
A lot of niceness.
And that's going to be the podcast today. And as for the giveaway, we're going to name the winner next episode. Woke up a little late today, couldn't compile all the names, but I still got to go through all the names. It's a lot of names, but
it's 2:00.
I really appreciate you guys. The Patreon has gotten so many new members. We're going to release a Patreon episode next week on Thursday. So this week won't be a Patreon episode. Next week will be a Patreon episode. And if you guys want to suggest us Keep 3 Cut 5s, topic ideas, you guys can. We'll have a question on the Patreon that's put up and asking you guys for your suggestions for our next recording. So you guys can chime in on the episode. I just played 2K with a group of people that are new from the Discord and the Patreon, and we won 15 points, 12 assists. I got the game winning steal. We were down by 1 point, and then I stole it from this lockdown defender, put the bucket up. We were up by 1, played some lockdown defense, and won the game. Shout out to the community, man, because I feel like when I play with our community, they value getting me the ball. So
I get a shot at somebody.
I get the ball, man. I get the ball. And sometimes we just ride or die. We either win or lose. That's it.
Have you guys seen this MVP gimmick shit that's going on Twitter?
With who?
Just like everybody. Stephen A. Smith was like, he's a voter, right? You guys know that? Stephen A. Smith's a voter. So Stephen A. Smith went up there. He was like, I will do my best to make sure Jaylen Brown gets MVP. Kind of telling us, like, SGA is probably not going to get unanimous, and he's going to vote for Jaylen Brown to win MVP. People are caping for Luka. You got, obviously, Detroit caping for Cade. Some Minnesota fans jumping in like, well, what about Ant? Just a lot of things that's going on, and it's really, of course, Spurs fans are jumping in for Wemby. It's just a lot of funny stuff going on because I feel like this has been, over the last month or so, like the very clear, obvious who should win MVP.
Jaylen Brown deserves recognition for the year that he's having. I don't think he gets nearly enough. That being said, there is a lack of objectivity in the MVP voting. But we've seen this before. We saw it in 2013 when Carmelo got an MVP vote over LeBron, and that was what prevented LeBron from getting it unanimous because a New York voter, I believe it was, gave Carmelo the vote. And that same season, Carmelo he was led the league in scoring. He was incredible. A clear first-team All-NBA player, but not worthy of getting the MVP vote. So I think there's a lack of, fairness, and at times there's also a lot of agendas that people have that get in the way.
I just think we have the wrong voters in. I don't think we have real voters in the thing. Like you mentioned it.
Kendrick Perkins has a vote too.
Yeah, like a New York reporter voted for Melo.
He did a few years ago. I don't tap in.
I think he might still have a vote. I think, not Molly, who is it? Rachel Nichols had a vote at one point for finals MVP, or was it something like we don't have legit voters. I feel like we have people who, no offense to them, like they do whatever job they do a great job of it. Obviously, that's why they make so much money. That's why they're on TV and stuff. But in my opinion, I just don't think they have enough time to watch games. I think that's the thing. And if you don't have enough time to watch games and you only watch the televised games, you're not really going to get a true understanding of what's going on.
From a storyline perspective, it's very easy to make the case for Jaylen Brown. Celtics had no offseason expectations. People, including myself, picked them to not make the playoffs and to be a bottom dweller and tank in a fashion that the Pacers are tanking right now to try to get a top pick. And then they are the second seed. That is before Jason Tatum returns, and Jaylen Brown is the leading scorer on the second seed. That is his case. I also do believe that it shouldn't just be leading scorer, best player, And while I do think he is Boston's best player, if you dive a little bit deeper, not too deep, but if you dive a little bit deeper, it will showcase Derek White's impact on both sides of the floor. The Celtics have 3 players before Tatum came back that are creating 30 points or more a game. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Payne Pritchard. And then before he got traded, Anthony Simons was a huge spark off the bench for them. So I think that Jaylen Brown deserves a lot of credit. Do I think this has been a one-man carry job show? I don't think so. I think that there are multiple contributors, including the names I mentioned, plus the role players on Boston that have stepped up, that were young and unproven, that Joe Mazzulla has gotten the best out of. But Stephen A. Smith is just picking and choosing what topics to be a face and a heel for. I think, because if you look at the Bam Adebayo game we're going to talk about on this episode, but the Bam Adebayo game, his reaction to it was taking nothing away from Bam. This is his moment. When Luka scored 73, it wasn't any of that. Luka scored 73 against the Hawks because they chose to just play him one-on-one instead of blitzing him, and he made them pay. And Stephen A. Smith, the next day, he didn't congratulate Luka. He went after the Atlanta Hawks and their incompetence, the modern NBA and the defense and the porous defense. But when Bam got his 83, it was none of that. So I think Luka Doncic, I think that's a big part of it. I think you have to pander to certain demographics, especially with his role now heightening into politics. It probably makes a big difference. I don't know. I think it's just basketball at the end of the day. But overall, there's a picking and choosing of what you want to accept and what you don't want to accept. Luka's 73, it's you downplay it. Bam's 83, you don't say anything about it, even though there was things to downplay about it within the fourth quarter, and we'll talk about it. But overall, I just think that Jaylen Brown, he's having a spectacular season, but he's by no way, shape, or form the MVP.
I thought you were going to point to the on-off data when you're about to highlight the supporting cast playing so well, because Derek White this year has been excellent. The three-point shooting will tell you one story, which I don't think is remotely been able to describe the type of year he's had defensively, especially. And I think a lot of time on-off data can paint a picture which is not fully accurate. Like Jaylen Brown this year, it's like his point differential and clean the glass. It's not a positive, it's a negative. But to me, I'm watching him play, and there are nights where not only is he carrying the offensive load, but there have been nights where he's simultaneously guarding a player like Kawhi Leonard at an elite level. And his ability to rise to that, not only usage offensively, but that responsibility on a possession-by-possession basis on the ball, there's maybe a few players I can count on one hand that can do that in the NBA. So his season reminds me a little bit of Paul George when he was getting some MVP love, and it was, 2019, because of the fact he is having his best season. A lot of people didn't really anticipate it, and now he's creeping into this MVP conversation. Of course, not direct one-on-one comp, but the more so highlight. A lot of people did not expect this coming into the year, and I think he deserves a lot of praise. First team All-NBA.
The on-off data doesn't look good to Jaylen Brown because the Celtics are really good. Their bench is really good overall. But when Jaylen Brown is on the court, they have a positive net rating. I think they're +5. It's just that when he's off the court, they are like +17 because their bench lineups completely blitz other opposing teams' bench lineups. I think that's the only reason why, but it's not that he's not impactful when he's on the floor. He is very impactful when he's on the floor. But I look at Shai, Luka, Jokic, Victor Wembanyama. I look at all of those, Cade Cunningham. I look at all those players as more deserving MVP candidates than Jaylen Brown. If you want to make the case against Wemby that the Spurs win games even when he doesn't play, that's like the biggest case against Wemby. But I look at who looks better and who impacts the game more when they're on the floor, and it's pretty clearly Wemby over Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I mean, Wemby's the most transformative vendor in the NBA, but even last night, they were on the verge of beating Denver and took a late fourth quarter kind of comeback. They're 10-5 this year now without Wemby. I guess with him, it's the game's played requirement. Can you get to that threshold, which it seems like he's just barely going to get. I felt like earlier in the season, before we talk about Bam, the MVP discussion, it was between two players, Nikola Jokic and Shai. But since Jokic has come back, and his efficiency hasn't quite been what it was before the wrist issue, as well as some of the higher turnovers, to me, it's become quite clear that Shai is the MVP. Last year, I felt like it was extremely tough because you could have made the case last year as Nikola Jokic's best season. It was just the fact that Shai had an all-time guard season. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I got carried away a little bit. People lost sight of the fact that last year, Chet Holmgren missed 50 games. And in those games, the Thunder played at a 68-win pace. They finished with 68 wins. And without Jalen Williams, including the playoffs, they didn't lose a game. I believe it was 15-0. So there were games last year where they were without Chet, and when Jalen Williams was playing, he was playing with torn ligaments and a shooting wrist, and it did not matter whatsoever. And he's running out there with good rotation players, very good rotation players, but none of which can scale their game offensively, and they're a near 70-win team. And this year's playing still on MVP levels. Right now, we're watching an all-time guard peak. I think people lose sight of the fact, too, because he gets compared to D-Wade, he gets compared to Kobe Bryant, and we all just want to compare him to past NBA players. And everyone's favorite player is Kobe. Is how I got into basketball. So people will then use that to discredit Shai. And they'll turn this into something that it's not, which is disrespecting an all-time player right now in his peak. And that's how when a player's in the middle of his prime, we don't appreciate him nearly enough. The other thing with Shai, too, is I'm losing track of what I was saying there. I'll find it in a minute. All
right, save shit.
I think the comparisons, they cause good and harm. I think the harm they cause is that as you compare current players to past players, you're comparing different eras, number one, and different eras is different basketball. So the same things across eras aren't valued the same. The pace is much different. But also it creates animosity within players of a certain fan to now have animosity towards this player and discredit things that we're currently watching. So, for example, we were just talking about Jaylen Brown MVP. Jaylen Brown is playing incredible. Stephen A. Smith then going and saying Jaylen Brown is going to be his MVP vote no matter what. It now makes people want to discredit what Jaylen Brown is doing because of how much Stephen A. elevated him in a conversation that he probably isn't number one in. With Shai, I think he's deserving of everything because right now, 71% at the rim, 55% from mid-range, like 37% from three. Shai, over the last 3 seasons, his mid-range jump shot, he's hitting those on 50% efficiency. That is outright insane. The rim efficiency has been outright insane. The mid-range efficiency has translated to the playoffs. The rim, not so much. But he's already a player that has a championship, has an MVP, is about to have another MVP. That elevates you in the conversation. And I'm a James Harden fan. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. I love old school NBA. And I do think that right now it's too soon to have Shai over certain players. But that is not to discredit what he's doing and what he can be. Because what he can finish as is very high in the all-time conversation. And something that I was dumbfounded by is Bleacher Report released a top 100 NBA players of all time. I believe this year. It was just released. Shai did not make it.
This is top 100?
Top 100 players of all time.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
Shai did not make it. And players that made it over him, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Paul George, Kyrie Irving. I think those are all fantastic players. But Shai with an MVP, with a finals MVP, leading the team to a championship, clearly in the all-time conversation, he has peaked higher than all of them.
He's already top 50.
Luka Doncic made the list too, and I think Luka's incredible, and I think he's deserving of being a top 100 player. But there is no case to leave Shai off. And I'm looking at the players that they had on the list. And I was going to do this later in the show, but we're on the Shai conversation anyway, and I think this would be interesting. I want you guys to tell me, Shai winning a back-to-back MVP, having 2 MVPs on his resume, would you put him over these all-time great players? Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
Next question.
Paul George.
Next question.
Kyrie Irving.
Next question.
These are getting harder. These are by level. It's going to get harder.
They're not.
It's really not.
Joel Embiid.
Next question.
Ray Allen.
Next question. Please, brother, get harder.
It's going to get harder.
These are great players, but yeah.
Tracy McGrady.
Please.
Russell Westbrook.
For the love of God.
You can't disrespect Russ like
it's
that.
Not even just, bro, he'll have 2 MVPs.
Russ isn't
2 rings.
the offensive engine that Shai is.
Bro, 2 MVPs, 2 rings, 2 finals MVPs. What are we doing?
Anthony Davis.
Please.
Well, AD is a great.
2 rings, 2 MVPs.
It's Shai.
2 finals MVPs. We don't have.
It's like you're almost like completely throwing this player off to the side.
We're putting him. He does this. He's getting into uncomfortable conversations. Yeah. I love all these players. They're all great players. Let's keep going.
All right, we're getting more uncomfortable. Allen Iverson.
Love AI. Come on.
Steve Nash.
Keep going.
James Harden.
Keep going.
So we're talking about peak James Harden.
Keep going.
James Harden finished top 2 in MVP voting 5 or 6 times in his career.
That's awesome.
The
That's
thing
incredible.
He ran into Golden State in his prime.
Shai is more resilient.
Shai
scorer
is
to
Golden
me.
State.
Well, he's on the team that
This
is
is-
that
this-
equivalent of the
Steve
era.
Nash.
Yeah.
But this be the thing, though.
But player for player, is Shai a better offensive player than James Harden?
Yes.
Than the best version
Yeah.
of James Harden.
Yeah.
Peak offensive James
Yeah.
Harden. The playmaking ability,
Yes.
he was arguably the best playmaker in the
Yes.
world and the best scorer in the world at the same time.
Bro,
This
I think
is
it's
not-
I think it's SGA. I think it's
This is
SGA.
not
think-
easy.
I
don't think it's. Oh, let me.
I think you're dismissing James Harden
Yeah.
way too easily.
No.
This is pretty close
No.
between Harden and Shai.
Here's where you guys are losing your minds at. Player for player, it may be close. I'm not sitting here disrespecting Harden. If SGA ends the year, we're talking about hypothetically. He ends the year with another Finals MVP, another.
So you're talking about
ring.
resume now. You're not talking
No,
about.
the resume
players game.
usually when you get into these conversations, the resume comes with what you've done. He's already about to get another MVP. It should be in our minds unanimous, right? For the most part.
I don't think it's unanimous. Jokic is having too great of a
We're getting-
season for it
we're
to be
getting pretty
unanimous.
close.
He should be running away with the award, right? So this is another MVP.
Jokic
He'll
didn't
go
get
out-
some votes for sure.
But
it's gonna
Jokic,
be-
we're probably
Shai's
looking at
gonna be the clear
Jokic
MVP.
like a top 15 player ever already.
So
The
I want to
Joker.
say something that it
he is.
goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier. The thing about comparisons is that comparisons are also great. So this is the good that comes with comparisons because you get to see in real time where a player can be with everything that they're accomplishing currently. And I think it's important to have these conversations because people are going to dismiss it. And I'm not saying that Shai isn't over Harden with the resume that he's built because 2 MVPs, an NBA championship, I get it. I
You
really,
want me to say player for player? I like SGA's offense way more.
I really do.
He
Way
turns,
more.
He turns the ball over less.
Well, he has the ball less than Harden.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
not making the same passes as James Harden.
and no. Yes and no. Harden is a world's better passer. Like, it's not even close.
Yes.
SGA doesn't turn the ball over. He can get to his spots better than James Harden.
No, he can't.
I think
James Harden was
I think he
unstoppable.
can.
They were guarding
Can you let
him
me finish?
behind him.
Can you let me finish? Can you let me finish? Can you let me finish?
He was so
can
unguardable.
you
Ricky
let me
Rubio
fin-
was guarding
can you-
him from the back.
Ricky Rubio should. Why the fuck?
Ken
Nobody-
Bazemore issued an
nobody was
apology
able
the
to
next day.
guard
That was
James
wild.
Harden at his
I like
peak.
SGA at the rim better. I like SGA in the mid range better. We talk about 3-point shooter. I understand the efficiency with SGA, but I give Harden that nod, even though SGA is more efficient. I like SGA getting to his spots better. I think he's more dominant as a scorer, given the efficiency. Doesn't turn the ball over, and I think he's a better defender. I like SGA more. I do. And I think the numbers
You don't
back
have
me
to
up.
preface. I think you know he's a
No,
better.
I mean, I can't. Well, number one, James Harden when he locks in is a good defender.
See,
I'm
I
tired.
can't
I'm
give
tired
you
of
that. I can't.
We're
Shai
not-
is
we're not
surrounded
doing.
by
We're not
all-time
doing this today. I'm not
defenders.
doing
I
this
can't
today.
give you
I'm not
that.
going to do
Shai
it.
is
he locks
I
surrounded-
want to talk about something
Bro,
else.
Shai
than
is
that.
surrounded by all-time
Okay,
defenders.
I
let's
know.
talk about offense.
I agree with you.
Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
offense.
offense.
Okay.
I'm not
Let's talk
doing
about
this. I'm not.
All right. James Harden, you're talking about being unstoppable. He has, outside of Wilt Chamberlain, Shai has the longest 20-point per game streak. James Harden is second in the most 30-point per game streaks of all time. He was quite literally the 2018 and 2019 season unguardable. He averaged 36 in a season. His highest point per game seasons are better than Shai's. And are you telling me right now Shai is a better isolation scorer than James
I
Harden?
think SGA is one of the best isolation scorers we've ever seen.
James Harden has a better quick first step. His prime, he's a better finisher than Shai.
Ooh,
He
I don't
is.
know.
I agree with you.
I have to look at the numbers on that.
It was. What was
Was it 2019?
2018, 2019. I think 17, 18 season, 18, 19
SGA
season.
is literally, I'm looking at it, he's more efficient across the board.
He's a better isolation scorer. I think Shai's the more resilient scorer and overall player. I do kind of look at this, and I think it's remarkably close between the two offensively. I did want to at least mention with Steve Nash, because he's been, especially over the last couple of years, I think because you'll see like Shaq go in the media and be like, he won 2 MVPs. You ain't telling me that Nash deserved both of those over me. And people have taken that and run with it. Steve Nash today would be Tyrese Halliburton as a better athlete and one of the best ball handlers in the NBA.
Better athlete,
Could you-
strong.
I mean, he's one of the quickest players in the NBA.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know
He's
if he'd
one
be a
of
better
the-
athlete than
I don't
Hallie.
know, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying, though.
I mean,
Steve.
Halliburton's
he'd be
one of the
better,
best
though.
ball handlers in the NBA and a quicker player.
Yeah, for sure.
That's Steve Nash.
For
Because
sure,
Steve
for
Nash
sure,
was
for
quicker.
sure, for sure.
Here's my thing is that James Harden, I feel like he deserved to be a multiple time MVP winner. He wasn't. 2019 was extremely narrative driven. Giannis won the MVP over him because the Bucks won 6 more games, but that year Chris Paul missed the majority of the year. Kenneth Faried came out of nowhere and was averaging a double-double because James Harden made him.
Dude, SGA in isolation has a 6% higher true shooting. Like, and he's giving more points per possession.
What points per possession? What is it?
SGA is at 1.10 at, wait, sorry, this is Harden. Harden's at 59% true shooting at 1.10. SGA is at 64% true shooting, 1.17. Like, he's just way more efficient at it. And that's Harden's best year. You said 2019. This is this year.
Is it 17? Well, his two best seasons, 17, 18.
So 18, I grabbed 19.
18, 19, I don't think was his most, probably wasn't a more efficient year.
17, 18?
17, 18, he averaged 30 and won MVP that year. That was his MVP season.
Okay, so 2018, Harden was worse. 57% true shooting, 0.91 point per possession.
Yeah, but he's going to have a less true shooting percentage when he's taking more threes. He's probably, James Harden is taking double the amount of threes.
That's why I like, 2017, he was nuts. 64% true shooting, 1.1. But this is why I like SGA more. Harden's going to take more threes. SGA is going to get to his wiggle room. He's going to get to the mid-range, get to the rim. He's going to do it in a little bit more of a versatile fashion that I like more.
Well, the reason why James Harden, it is his peak scoring was driving to the basket, threes, fouls.
Yes.
The mid-range for him in that point in time, it was pretty much obsolete.
He took it out.
But he was dominant. And the only reason why he doesn't have a championship is because he ran into the best team of all time. His first playoff series in the conference finals against the Warriors, he averaged 30. His second playoff series against them, he averaged 35.
Can't use those years as the only reason why he doesn't have a championship.
I think those are the biggest. That was his best team. They had an opportunity
to close out Boston one year with him and Embiid, and both of them did not show up.
I'm talking about his prime.
You still have an opportunity to win a ring.
Yeah, he won 2 games for the Sixers, and then Joel Embiid didn't show up after that.
But they had opportunities in those runs when Kevin Durant was down to show up in fourth quarter. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying in general as the team. They had opportunities when Kevin Durant went down, and they played him for that quarter in one game. They had an opportunity at Game 7 in their home floor, whether they got cheated or not. They've had opportunities to beat this stout team. You know what I'm saying?
Like the second series against Golden State, Kevin Durant went down and he didn't play for a quarter in a game.
Yeah.
It is totally fine.
In Houston.
All right. But yeah, it is totally fine. And James Harden scored 30 in that closeout game. Yes. He was having a great game. Steph Curry caught a heater in the second half. And listen, Steph Curry, he showed up in one moment in a series that he didn't show up at all, pretty much.
That's the most important moment of the series.
That's the most important. But James Harden didn't have the luxury to not show up for any part of the series. He had to show up and play at an elite level in every single game.
Well, Steph didn't show up and they were down.
Kevin Durant was carrying them to a 2-0 series lead.
And they were down.
What do you mean?
Like Kevin Durant was the best. I'm with you. Kevin Durant was the best. Steph wasn't playing well. They were down in the series. It was 2-2 game 5. No. 2-2 going into game 5. They were down 3-2 in that Houston game.
No, they went up.
I'm sorry. It was 2-2. Then Kevin Durant went down. They ended up winning that game.
Those two
by
wins
the grace
matter.
of God.
Those two
they
wins
won
matter.
those games. No, they do. But it was 2-2 with Kevin Durant playing his best and Curry not playing his best.
But the 2 wins that KD got them to get off to a 2-0 series lead when he had 40 in each game, those matter. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they do.
Even if you take out Kevin Durant, the Warriors and the Rockets were still evenly matched. When you have Curry, Klay Thompson, Iguodala, Draymond Green.
I'm with you.
Kevin Durant made them overpowered, but when you take them out, they were evenly matched. Hey, an all-time team that before KD won 73 wins, I'm not shocked that they were able to pull off a quarter in a game where they were able to outlast Houston. But I thought Harden was phenomenal in that series. I think, back to the MVP conversation, I think James Harden should have won over Giannis in 2019. They made a documentary that year called Finding Giannis, where they relived his entire childhood. And it's an awesome upbringing, and what he has faced, his resiliency. I don't want to undermine it, but I think that narrative played heavily into Harden not winning MVP. This is going to be controversial. I think Westbrook's 2016 MVP should have went to James Harden too. I thought, 2017. I thought Westbrook got it because the historic milestone of averaging a triple-double. But that year, Harden led a better offense, and Harden's team wasn't that much better. And Harden, he was only like a rebound shy of averaging a triple-double that year. So I think Harden, for 6 to 7 years, he pretty much was finishing second in MVP voting, if not third. So I think player for player, I understand the resume with Shai and what he's accumulating. When it's all said and done, Shai is probably going to be over James Harden. But I think the lack of accolades for James Harden on his resume, I think, is media driven for why he doesn't have more MVPs. And for the championships, I think that he just ran into Golden State.
There it is. Form perception of players. And in Russ's season, it's historic in many different levels. And of course, there is such a strong push. And of course, I think too, triple doubles oftentimes become people's proxy of, oh, you average a triple double, you're automatically MVP. I don't think that's how it works. That being said, for a lot of people, that is going to be their criteria, a big part of it at least. That 2017 season, not only did Russ have an incredible MVP caliber season, it was his most efficient season from three, and Harden did, but so did Kawhi. I feel like that year there was a lot of players who were having pretty awesome seasons.
Next name up, because I think we already...
Are we discrediting Westbrook's triple-double year?
No.
Because what do you like? You just went on a whole rant about what he should have done and what he could have done.
I think Harden's year was better.
If you think that's fine.
All of those
to average a triple double.
No, it's crazy.
I would have voted for Russ.
Yeah,
Harden was,
but I also think
Harden was a rebound shy of averaging a triple double.
That's cool and all, but like he was shy. Like I don't like. What do you want? What do you want us to do with that information?
You were the person that just showed me that Shai's better than Harden because of the efficiency and the points per possession numbers. If we look at all those numbers and compare that to Harden that year versus Westbrook, Harden will win all of those.
Westbrook didn't win because Westbrook won because he did something we haven't seen in like 30 years.
Okay, but if you analyze it deeper and look at all of the metrics, the efficiency behind it, I mean, James Harden, the triple double was so rare that when Westbrook did it,
super rare.
But
what year was that?
Jokic just averaged a triple double and lost to Shai
many times after.
Jokic just averaged a triple double and lost to Shai, and Shai averaged 31, 5, and 5.
Yeah, because it was
the allure of the triple double has diminished from what we thought of it back then. So I am using this revisionist history of knowing what we know now, which I mean, Steven Adams was boxing out to get Westbrook the boards. That's
now
what he was doing in the game.
Blaming a big for doing his job.
Well, I do tend to think Russ is one of the best rebounding guards of all time. The responsibilities of a guard are not to rebound. It's to get back on defense. Harden was more efficient that season. I also tend to think that if the justification is simply because Russ averaged 2.5 more rebounds than Harden, that's why you're voting for MVP, I think you're wrong. But if you also believe that Russ was the more impactful overall player, then he's your MVP. And I would have had Russ as my MVP.
Harden averaged...
It wasn't even the rebound thing. It was Kevin Durant just left.
Yes.
The team was completely battered.
There was a whole storyline behind that.
It was like, yo, this team, like kind of how Jaylen Brown and people trying to do with that. It's like, yo, this team is not supposed to be good.
So
like, they have no offense.
That year for Harden, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. I also think that you can make an argument for Harden winning the 2014-2015 MVP that Steph won. Steph averaged 23 that year, winning MVP.
Bro, but if your argument is making up arguments for what they could have done, we can do this with so many players in NBA history. We can do this with Michael Jordan.
It's a valuation of Harden's peak.
We could do this with the Joker. We can do this. Nobody's questioning Harden's peak. Nobody is.
So I'm
just wanting you to know SGA's peak is just as good.
No, I think SGA's peak is. I mean, SGA's peak is just as good as anybody's. I'm just saying that I'm representing who James Harden was as the player,
but
because I don't think one MVP does him enough. He's an all-time great regular season performer. In the year that he came second in MVP voting, his team, his starting lineup, I'm looking at it right now.
Lots of good role players.
It was Trevor Ariza, who's a solid role player, Dantes Montehunas, Patrick Beverly. Dwight Howard played 41 games, and it was Terrence Jones, and then a 37-year-old Jason Terry. That team won 56 games that year. He had more points than Steph Curry that year. He averaged more assists. I think
so. Are you a PRA merchant what are we doing?
A lot of the times that Harden has not won MVP has been narrative driven, 100%.
People are also frustrated that he was kind of what a lot of people don't enjoy watching. The aesthetic viewership and the value of watching a Rocky game and you see James Harden not defending with as much energy as it feels like, or the fact that his play style was leading to more foul calls than a lot of other stars. People weren't as big on Harden as compared to these players are mentioning.
Okay, we're going to go on with the list. Kawhi Leonard.
SGA.
Kawhi or SGA? Yeah, it's tough. Not necessarily...
Kawhi's problem is he can't finish out seasons.
I'm not necessarily going Shai here.
Do you think Shai
I'm not.
is Shai
Two
better?
defensive player of the years, 2 finals
We're talking about at their
MVPs.
best?
Is Shai better than the best version you've seen?
I'm
of
going
Kawhi
Kawhi,
Leonard?
man. Yeah.
He's not. I'll go out and limp. Neither is Harden, by the way. Neither is Harden. Like, Kawhi is, neither is Harden.
Shai to me finishes with a better resume all the time. Kawhi was the better player at his peak. Even though right now I think it's really tough because Shai is entering that conversation where you can make a case for him. But when you look at what Kawhi's done, I'm going Kawhi.
Kawhi at his best. Neither one of
Harden
them.
played better against that same Golden State team.
It's
by
like
the way.
6, maybe
Kawhi
6
played
to
one
8
game.
healthy seasons.
No, he didn't.
Kawhi played one game.
No, that was the year they made
2017.
that was the year that team in the finals.
That's
The
it with Kevin
Raptors.
Durant in them?
The Raptors, yeah.
Oh.
I'm saying Harden played
Oh.
better against that Warriors team than Kawhi did.
Congrats.
Like way better than
Harden
him.
never had a run as good as that.
That's because he was in the West and not the East. If
Well,
he was
that
in the
East was
East, he
good
would
that year.
in the East he would have easily
Bro,
Yeah,
won.
that
East
East was
good.
tough.
That was the best East in a
People
while.
are talking about 4 teams that couldn't be in the finals that year. Don't do
Dude,
that.
we're
Do not
trolling.
do
We're
that.
trolling. Next name.
When you got to get past Golden State,
know what you're
Milwaukee.
saying.
anything
But
is
yes,
harder-
you're talking about the
that's
East, though. You're
harder
not
than
talking about the
anything.
West. The West is not part of
If
the Eastern
the
Conference
Rockets
right
were
now.
in the East, they would have easily made the finals in back-to-back years.
I don't think.
In
we're not talking
2018,
about
I'm
that,
with
though.
you. 2018, yeah. I can see
2019, they wouldn't have made the finals.
that.
Them are the Bucks?
Yeah,
Conversation.
that Eastern Conference had Boston,
Bucks who had
Milwaukee,
Denver
Toronto,
Blazers
and
starting?
Philadelphia.
Them are Philly?
Philly, let's be serious, man.
Let's be serious. What?
Let's be serious.
That Eastern Conference had
Why are
4
we
teams
okay?
that
So
couldn't
what's
make
so
the
great
finals.
about the West? That same bum ass Clippers team that lost to Josh
They
Smith and Corey
had
Brewer?
to play the Warriors. That's the
Like,
only
what are we
thing.
like? What are we like? Are we sitting there trolling
Yeah.
here?
No,
Like,
having to
we're talking
go
about
by
that
the
run
Warriors.
Okay, they didn't just
One
lose.
lo-
He didn't just
Yeah.
lose to Golden State, bro.
That year he did.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't just lose to go. You
We're
love to
talking about
milk
that year.
that so
We're
much.
talking
No,
about
we're
that
not.
year. I am.
You're talking about Harden's just entire
No,
work. Like,
no, we're not.
All right, so we're
Yeah.
talking about
This,
the single
this
year.
all
Okay.
started because I
Okay.
said James Harden played better against that Golden State team than Kawhi did.
And I said
Yeah.
Kawhi's run
I don't really
that
care.
year, Harden doesn't have a run
he
like
did
that.
because he wasn't in the East.
At the end of the day, when
Philly
LeBron
was a
left the
good
East,
team.
every team went all in to win a
Kawhi wouldn't
championship,
have
and
that
4 of
run
them
if
couldn't have made the
KD
finals.
and Clay didn't get hurt. They
Wait,
both
no,
got hurt.
but bro, wait, stop, because you're confusing. You're not making sense.
I am.
You're saying Kawhi's run against Philly, Milwaukee, Orlando. You're saying what?
Harden would have did the same thing if he was in the East.
So
He
we're
had to
talking
get
about
by
against
Golden
Philly.
State.
You can't act like that's a
Ben
foregone
Simmons,
conclusion.
Jimmy Butler,
I
and
am.
them.
You should not.
Because Harden would have been the best player in the Eastern Conference without a shadow of a doubt. And the Rockets were still
Kawhi's
a
such
great
a better
team.
playoff
When
like,
health,
performer. I don't understand where this is coming from.
Harden averaged 35 in that series.
So he's a
And
better
Kawhi-
player automatically.
I'm not saying he's a better player automatically. I'm saying that he played better against that Warriors team
What
when they
year
were
was
actually
that?
healthy.
What year is that?
It was 2019. It was 2019 playoffs.
All right, man,
That's what it was.
Let's get 2019.
Keep continuing with the list. Well, we got to talk about our boy Bam.
All right, let's continue the list.
This shit is a comedy.
Next player up, Chris Paul.
Chris Paul or Shai. I'm not going to comment.
Damn, that's close.
This is my favorite point guard of all time. Not going to comment.
That's super close.
People, another player, just like Steve Nash, that people ragdoll, and I hate it. It's like they never saw him play when he was in New Orleans. It's a shame to see.
SGA.
Okay. Shai over Chris Paul. Next name up, these are getting harder. Dwayne Wade.
Much like Kawhi, when it's all said and done, I expect Shai to have the better resume because Dwayne Wade didn't have the most
But see,
longevity.
this conversation is beautiful because it's at D Wade's best. So I'm gonna say no.
I'm going to say at their best, peak versus peak, extremely tough.
Just D Wade before the bad knees.
Because even when it's relative to era, Shai is the better mid-range shooter. Ball handling, I think Shai's the best ball handler right now in the NBA. But when you talk about the physical traits, the explosiveness, and just especially the 2006 finals run that Dwayne
D
Wade
Wade with
had,
spacing, I think would be a really good mid-range shooter, like otherworldly.
yeah, he still will not be as good as Shai, in my opinion.
Maybe not. What's Shai at 55?
I think he's getting to that point.
Dwayne Wade was an elite defender.
He's at 48. And
Yeah, one of the best shot
He
blocking
wasn't a
guards of all
three-point shooter,
time.
but he was an excellent mid-range shooter.
In
I
this
think
era, I
better
think
driver than
Dwayne
Shai.
Wade's a better player today with the spacing. And I'm probably going to lean. This could go either way, Dwayne Wade here.
Before we go on to the next name, I just want to make it known. I'm on NBA.com looking at play type isolation with James Harden in the 17-18 season, the year he won MVP. On 10 isolation possessions per game, he averaged 1.22 points per possession. This year,
That's nuts.
This year, Shai on 10.2 isolations on 7 isolations per game. Because right now, Harden leads the NBA in isolation possessions at 10.2, still 1.06 points per possession. Even Wash, he's still elite in ISO. SGA this year, 7 possessions, 1.19 points per possession. So James Harden's MVP year was a more efficient isolation year, just a score, than what we're seeing from Shai this year. And that was on 3 more possessions per game in isolation. I think it is very fair to make the statement that James Harden is the greatest, if not second or third isolation player ever. There's only few players in ISO that I would take over James Harden when we're talking about a combination of the scoring threat and the playmaking threat. So that's all I want to say on that. But we don't have
those numbers again?
Harden, 17-18 season, 10 possessions, 1.22 points per possession. Mm-hmm. This year, Shai, 7 possessions, 1.19 point per possession in isolation. So Harden, marginally more efficient on 3 more possessions. I just think, like, I feel like
ridiculous efficiency.
I am always going to vouch for Harden. I think that his resume, even though he has an outstanding resume, his resume doesn't fully capture what I saw from him at his very best.
I watched him.
I think he's deserving of more MVPs. I think he's deserving of championships. He should have won one in OKC. Should have won one in Houston. Should have won one with the Nets. James Harden should be a 3-time champion. He should be a 3-time MVP. I think Harden, his resume should be that stacked, but OKC traded him, obviously.
There's no responsibility here either, of course. Brooklyn and all. There's none. There's absolutely none. Bro.
Oh. Hey, listen, man. Everybody got bad moments.
Not his fault whatsoever.
Everybody got bad moments. Maybe this year he'll win with Cleveland.
No, it's not. For James Harden.
No, we're not caping. We're being honest about what happened.
It's dead ass embarrassing.
Yeah, the way you feel about Harden is the way I feel about Chris Paul.
14-15, 16-17, 19-20, all could be MVP Harden years. He has a realistic case.
So can every other top guy. Sorry.
All right, that's why you're a top guy. Next name up, Dirk Nowitzki.
I'm taking Shai.
Yeah, I might take Shai here.
Damn, that easily, huh?
You got Dirk over a few guys I would take over him.
Yeah, but Dirk, I mean, sheesh. Not the same position, but you could argue best finals run in NBA history.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites in NBA history. But if this is solely peak versus peak, the answer is Shai.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic.
The Joker.
Kevin Garnett.
Ooh. 04 KG.
I have KG higher than Dirk by a wide margin. Shit. Imagine
if you just put Kevin Garnett in a really well-run organization for 10, 12 years before Boston.
We can't make things up. We got to just kind of go with what we have.
Well, we do know what we have. He played in Minnesota.
That's what I'm thinking about it. At his best, fuck the organization, just what he could do. Just an elite two-way player. Like, this is a real, like, all that shit we be yelling about two ways. This is a real two-way player right here. Like, the definition of a sound two-way player. Great on offense, borderline elite, and elite on defense. Not these gimmicky two ways we keep giving out to. Well, we'll talk about that maybe on another day when other people are here. I'm gonna lean KG. Kevin Durant.
But hey, I didn't get an answer yet.
Oh, you didn't answer yet. Okay.
You don't be answering. You kind of just sit there like, I can't answer. It's my favorite player.
By the way, it is Shai over D-Wade. The more I think about it previously, I'm gonna go with Kevin Garnett here. Very tough.
I'd go D-Wade over KG.
I would too.
At their best, yeah, I go D-Wade.
Kevin Durant.
I go KD. At his best, I go KD. Another sound two-way player. We just be throwing that shit around. This shit's sad. Another sound two-way player. I think his best gets overshadowed because Golden State was so great, but he was really at the apex of his powers with Golden State. Like, they really unlocked another gear to him. I'll go KD here.
Take who he did it against and who he did it with. Kevin Durant finals performance is the most efficient all time. Nobody's ever had what he had in the finals against Cavaliers. He averaged 35 on insane efficiency. So I think, like, if you take out the context of like who he did it against, who he did it with, and you just honor what he did, then his highs are ridiculously high.
Yeah, I'm probably going KD.
Yeah, he's another player that.
This is the point where I'm comfortably going to start taking.
I mean, this is another player that Kevin Durant that I think he never really had like the MVP seasons to signify like how truly great of a player he was. Yeah. He only has one MVP, but
Because his best years coincided with LeBron.
People don't realize, like, back then, 2012, 2013, it really wasn't signed and sealed that LeBron was going to dominate the next 10 years, and it was his era. Kevin Durant very much was in the mix as the number 2 guy. People knew that LeBron was the best player, but Kevin Durant, at least, it wasn't a Steph Curry that was the biggest threat to LeBron. That's how we viewed KD. KD was the biggest threat.
Sometimes people trump you.
Yeah, and then Steph Curry came in and then trumped KD, and now
very tough to win MVP in that era of the 2010s.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, Steph did it twice, back to back. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, to win MVP and like to win back-to-back MVP. I know we love to shit on the media as we should and the people who vote on it, but you have to be at a different type of level. Like, we can shit on the award all we want, but if we look at the MVP winners and the dudes who've won it multiple times, it's a certain level of guys, you know what I'm saying, that we do respect as the top-notch guys in the NBA.
It should be Harden, too. So you're taking Kevin Durant, both of you.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. I mean, why are you disrespecting James Harden?
It would be such a drop-off.
He's one of the greatest players.
Who's won multiple? Kareem, Michael Jordan.
You can order Harden. Harden is arguably the 3rd best shooting guard all time.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Shaq only has 1 MVP. And so
that one is a crime as hell.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he should have.
Yo, no funny shit. Harden may be 3rd, but there's such a drop-off from 1 and 2 to 3. It's like, low key.
Hey, those are all
disrespect
timers.
Kobe or
no, I would never disrespect
I'm
Kobe.
just asking.
All right, so this is the last level. This is the hardest one. Steph Curry.
I'm taking Steph. Taking Steph. It's getting close. I'm taking Steph, though.
2022 is doing a lot of heavy lifting with like how we view Steph Curry.
No, heavy lifting. I think it's just icing on the cake.
I mean,
he was better in 21.
It was icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But
you're
right.
I'm mixing the years up. Yeah.
He's talking about the ring.
Steph Curry.
I'm talking about the year before.
Steph Curry, from a legacy perspective, I'm not trying to like undermine it, but
you
I'm
are
saying
because we're
no,
shitting
I'm
on
not.
Harden, so that's what you're trying to do.
I'm
2021
Steph Curry 2022 stamped him because he won Finals MVP and he won after Kevin Durant left. Like that run, if he doesn't have that run, you don't have a Steph Curry Finals MVP.
Well, he should have won 2015. That was BS.
And people were calling him top 15 all the time.
You look at the 4 NBA championships that he had before that run, 2 with Kevin Durant. People don't count those for KD. You can then very well say they don't count for Steph either. And then 2016 blew a 3-1 lead. In 2015, LeBron didn't have Kevin Love or Kyrie.
High key.
Let me get this straight. Hold on, because John, this is funny. So when Harden went up against the Golden State, it's never his fault. It's never Harden's fault the way he was talking. But with Steph Curry, a lot of it is his fault. A lot of it.
I just broke it down right here.
You see how interesting this conversation is going, John?
The 2015 Finals MVP, that's like Caleb Martin winning over Jimmy Butler in the conference finals. But that's what it reminds me of. Because we all knew who the most valuable player was on that team.
No, for
we
sure.
got caught up in the series.
But why do you even have to? We should just admit Steph won 2015.
But also, the media won't tell you that they were down in the series. Iguodala comes in, guards LeBron, and then they rattle off
when they were down.
What?
Steph started to average 33 a game.
Yeah, he should have been Finals MVP. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been, but I'm saying that
You're not saying it the way you say with Harden.
That championship also came with Kevin Love and Kyrie not playing in the series.
Yeah, that's facts.
I think that's the biggest asterisk if you want to put an asterisk on that. But that's why I think 2022 it is Steph Curry's defining run.
Yeah, I think so. I just think people like 2021 was better. Like 2021 Steph was nuts. Even when Kevin Durant was there, like he should have had all NBA first teams, but they canceled both of them out because they were like, you can't have 2 top 3 guys.
My question is 2015.
Even 2023 was better in 23 than 22, bro.
Yeah, he just didn't have the requisite help. My question is 2015 and 2016 Steph, taking those 2 seasons versus this Shai and last season Shai, what 2-year stretch is better?
Well, because I think SGA, because 2015 is doing a lot of the low crafting. So SGA. So we're not talking about that.
That's really what's in my mind. I know. I mean, Steph Curry longevity. Obviously, I mean, I think he's over Shai. But
what are we doing?
But I'm saying, from a peak perspective, is Shai peaking similarly to Steph, or is that crazy to say?
No, I don't think it's crazy to say. But are we now grabbing years, or are we talking about just at their best? Well, you're picking and choosing who you're using.
What's Steph's peak years?
2021, 2016. Honestly, from 2016 to 2020.
Best 2-year stretch. Not
separated by 6 years.
Consecutive 2-year stretches. I'm not.
It's 2021 and 2016. I'm taking Steph.
Say that again.
It's 2016 and 2021, and I'm taking Steph.
Consecutive. So
you said not consecutive.
There's a 4-year gap. There's a 4-year gap,
bro.
No,
6-year gap. Yeah.
Now I know what you're doing because
I'm saying who are you taking?
Who are you taking? Kevin Durant, SGA?
Sheesh.
Because they know 2 year stretch can equal up to SGA.
This 2 year stretch is one of the best of all time.
It's because KD's 2 year stretch is highly questionable because he did it with Golden State.
But Steph in those 2 years were also nuts.
And when he led OKC to the finals, he wasn't even in his prime. He was like 22.
That's why I thought the way we were talking is just at their best.
Oh no, we are.
I'm not even thinking of 2 years. Because even then, we can stretch out SGA to 3. He's averaged 30 in a row, like 4 years or 3 years or whatever it is. Yeah, so I thought we were just thinking at their best. But
so you don't think Steph Curry has a better 3 year stretch than what Shai's doing?
Probably not consecutive is tough. Because I think 2016, 2017, 2018, he was awesome. And then 21, 22, 23, he was really good. But he doesn't have the 3 year stretch of 30, 30, 30. He doesn't have that.
Yeah, it is 4 year stretch of 30, not 5.
I will say this too. I also think that the stretch that Shai is on, not only is he producing at an all-time level, but I think it is also very beneficial to him that he is on the best team in the NBA over the last 3 seasons too. I don't think that can be ignored because I think what a championship and a finals run does for your legacy, there's nothing that competes with that. But in order to have that run, you need to have the roster. And Shai has had the roster for the last 3 seasons.
I can't knock him for being the main reason for
like we talked about at the start
I'm not
of the
knocking
show.
him, but
Chet missed most of last season when they played a 68 win pace without him.
There was a lot of great players around him too.
Great is strong, man. Great
Dort,
I will say great. I mean,
Aaron Wiggins,
why
Isaiah
are we
Joe.
acting like
No,
I'm actively hating.
I know
Lu
what we're
Dort.
doing.
This is on purpose.
Lu Dort is a good player.
This is targeted.
Lu Dort is a good player. Right. Great is nuts.
We try to make
He's
these dudes
gone.
sound like
He's
bums.
gone a heartbeat.
He's
Case
a great
Wallace
defender.
Is a rookie.
They're letting him go because they have to account for the extensions they have to give their star players.
They already gave it to him.
That's why.
I'm just hating on Lu Dort.
But when it kicks in, all right, I understand that. I think Lu Dort is a dirty player. But
even now, we're not calling Lu Dort a great player. We're just not doing
but
that.
What I'm saying is that
bro.
there's a lot of
so expendable.
there's a lot of 3 year stretches that players have that from a production standpoint are all time, but they don't have the teams to make a playoff run. Like I look at Kobe in 06 where he averaged 35, 36 a game. His roster was garbage. So like if that is one of his best seasons, but obviously that's going to come with no playoff success because his roster was trash.
Yeah.
Like Shai, not only
they blew a 3-1 lead.
Not only, but the Suns were also a way better team than them. But
they went up 3-1. There is no excuse after that.
Yeah, but he also their team was awesome that year.
If you are up 3-1 on a team that's awesome, there is no excuse.
It's a variance.
No, it's not.
All right, but still, that's one of his best years.
Yes.
And then so I'm saying Shai is not only producing at a high level, but he's also with a team that gives him the opportunity to go on a deep playoff run. That's very helpful.
But he gives them also the opportunity to. It's like a give and a take.
Yes, obviously they need him.
I'm such a good scorer. You guys don't have to do what I have.
Yeah, obviously they need him. I'm not saying they don't need him. They need Shai to make any run. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that in order to have a 3-year run that's also coupled with playoff success, you need to have the team to do so. Yeah. A lot of all-time, like for example, Kevin Garnett, his best peak seasons are with Minnesota. He only has 1 year where there's any type of playoff success to show for it because his teams were trash.
That's fair.
So right now, it's a perfect marriage where Shai's performing, but they also have the talent around him to solidify what he's doing in the postseason. They have the talent
around him, but there's also been a lot of adversity too.
I'm not saying there hasn't. There is adversity. Of course there is.
I think outside of
Chet.
This
isn't KD in Golden State.
I think outside of Chet, like, if we look at the roster, we really want to get into it. Outside of Chet, all these guys weren't guaranteed guys to splash.
They hit on them, but I don't think that's a testament to Shai.
No, what I'm saying is it all kind of marinated because SGA nobody knew he'd be this.
No.
Like this, they traded for him. They sent the house. The Clippers sent the house for Paul George. They got SGA. They had good years with Chris. They had a good year with Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, SGA, and whatnot. But they end up tanking. They get Chet. They get J-Dub. They get Lu Dort, who was an undrafted player.
They got him. He was in a playoff series.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they had these guys. We didn't know this was going to be this. It took them to also. It's a mixture of both, where they drafted well. But they also just hit on a dude that just went to a different level.
Sam Presti, I mean, coupled with you lucked out on Shai becoming this, but he's also been a genius at cultivating his team. AJ Mitchell was a second-round pick, and I think AJ Mitchell, in the right situation, could average 23 a night, even probably more. Like, you can't tell me AJ Mitchell can't do what Keontae George is doing in Utah.
I just think the nail in the coffin in this conversation is, like John mentioned, Chet missed a year. And they were still great.
Yeah, but they had Isaiah Hartenstein, who was the heart and soul of the Knicks. Isaiah Hartenstein was awesome.
Great supporting cast, but great supporting cast don't win 70 games too often. They're right on that cusp.
I think great supporting cast do win that many games. If you
often?
have, if you
70
have,
wins
if
often?
you have the
That doesn't happen often.
It's
not every day a team
if
wins
you have the
68
player
games.
leading you, yes, you can. I mean, J-Dub was healthy.
If you have the what?
Yeah, but they had J-Dub too as an all-star.
Yeah, J-Dub was playing with multiple torn ligaments.
And he still played well.
Yes.
But he played well.
Yeah, and they're the second or third best offense in the NBA. And this year he's not been
It's a testament
himself.
to OKC. They can lose Chet and their roster is still one of the best in the league.
I also think you can directly attribute that to just how great of an offensive player that Shai Gilgeous Alexander is.
Do we not know SG's numbers when he's on the floor by himself?
Pull up the honest.
OKC lost Chet, right, last year. Even with taking that into account where he didn't play for the majority of the season, OKC's roster was a top 3 roster in basketball, even with taking out an all-star player from the team.
Brother, SGA is a plus 12 when they're both off the floor.
Yeah, we know that he does
this.
this.
Like overall point differential.
We know that, but you're looking at these advanced analytics. When let's just talk ball and talk about the players on the roster. They're not bums. Why are we acting like they're bums?
If you never said that. Ball about the dudes on the roster, you're not going to be honest about
them. Are they the best roster in the NBA? Minus Shai. Are they the best? Like top to bottom? If you take every team's best player off their team, who's the best roster in the league? It's OKC.
I would probably say Boston because they've been without Jason Tatum this year and they've still been a top 3 seed.
That's a good point.
That's an excellent point.
I like the Spurs. A little bit. But I get what you're saying.
They're a great roster. But great rosters don't win 68 games often. That's what I'm saying, man.
I'm saying that you need the roster to help cement what the production is doing. Dwayne Wade's best season in the regular season was 2009. His roster was trash.
His roster was terrible.
Usually the best version of these players, they cannot be maximized because the supporting cast around them is dog shit. I know Shai elevates this current roster. This current roster is also amazing.
It's the best defensive supporting cast in the NBA. I'm with you 100%.
Arguably in history.
Offensively, they don't uplift SGA.
But the defense they have,
that's what your defense is supposed to do.
But the defense in the playoffs was what the elite portion of it was.
But I'm with you.
Like that is what the driving force of the run. Obviously, Shai's heroics and being an offensive creator, but the defense was suffocating from every angle.
Is this not what a team is supposed to do for their guard?
All I'm saying is that the team is great. I'm saying is the team is great. I'm not saying anything else. I'm saying the team, the rosters around him. Over the last 3 years, he has had the best roster in the NBA. And that is helping also his production and the playoff success of the team. It's helping solidify his legacy more because his production is being matched with the team that's able to support him and complement him the most as well.
I don't know. I still feel like you're trying to just discredit us.
I'm not.
You're losing the plot.
I just said.
I don't think so. I think you're just trying to
mention
the plot is just, anyways.
I just mentioned multiple players.
I don't think so.
I just mentioned multiple players' best years. They couldn't have any playoff success because their team sucked.
That's fair, but I also think this team goes to a different level because SGA. That's
every team goes to a different level with any of these players that we're mentioning.
Well, these are all-time great players.
Like Jimmy Butler, the Heat went to a different level with Jimmy Butler.
In the regular season?
In the postseason, in his runs.
Yeah. Because in the regular season, they've never won 65 repeatedly.
Yeah, because Jimmy Butler doesn't turn it on in the regular season.
Like even their best run was when they were 8th seed.
But you look at, Kobe's rosters in 2009, 2010 are comparable to these OKC rosters. These OKC rosters are probably better.
Yeah, I'm with you. Different time, but I get it.
And they won, I think, the first year with Paul Gasol, first full year in 2009, they won 60-plus games. So I'm saying, like, yes, I'm just saying the roster complements Shai, so it's able to solidify his legacy more because he's able to combine his success individually with team success because they have the team. Yeah. It's like not the same comparison, but it's like Stafford and the Rams. Like Stafford and his numbers were able to be solidified because he finally has the team around him to go and win playoff games to showcase that he's a winner too. So that's all I'm saying. But we said Steph Curry, so you guys are both taking Steph Curry.
At this point, it's going to be every player you need.
They were a playing team. He was averaging 30 already. Oh, man. Yeah, I get what you're saying, though, I guess.
You're good at stuff.
Kobe Bryant.
I knew where this will all trace back to. I'm taking Kobe.
I'm still taking Kobe as well. I mean, I think Shai, though, is making it uncomfortable. You guys, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7 levels total on here. I had Kobe and Steph at the highest level. Jokic, Garnett, KD, just
Jokic
below
is
that.
in their level, but yeah.
I can see that. I can hear that argument. But essentially, you guys said yes to most of these. I mean, you guys did take Jokic and KD and Kobe and Steph, but you took Shai over Dirk, Chris Paul, James Harden, Nash, AI, Anthony Davis, Russ, Kawhi Leonard. You guys didn't.
I took Kawhi over Shai.
I took Kawhi.
I know. I'm saying you guys took Kawhi over Shai. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then you guys took Dwayne Wade over Shai as well, correct?
Yeah.
So
I
really, and Kevin Garnett.
I took KG.
And Kevin Durant. So some of those, I mean, Shai, that's why I was kind of shocked to go full circle on this, that he didn't make the top 100 list. Because I feel like most of the players he's over then, like the conversation really starts at like the batch of names that we just really mentioned. Like in terms of the peak that we're seeing from him.
Yeah, those are top 40, top 50 names.
Yeah. Like I think Shai has a chance to finish as a top, is it crazy to say top 15 player ever on the pace that he's at? If he continues the pace that he's at.
Need longevity to get there.
Yeah. The longevity plays a huge factor into it. But that's why comparisons are also a good thing, because it helps us see where these players' trajectory is currently going to if they continue what they're doing on a night-to-night basis. The other thing that happened in the NBA that was historic was Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points in a game. How did you guys feel about it?
Felt great. I felt elated, actually. I was running through the house tiptoeing, and I was like a little kid on Christmas. I'm not going to lie to you. Watching the first quarter, 5 threes, 31 points. There's so many different layers to this, but the place that you start is that Bam Adebayo just scored the most points in a modern NBA game. And it's pretty awesome to see a player who before that was not even averaging 20 points per game. This is one of the best defensive players in the world. A player that night to night has a role, and a lot of NBA players specialize in that role. But on a night where your leading scorers, Norman Powell and Tyler Hero and Wiggins, Khalil Ware are out, and Bam Adebayo has the opportunity to run the offense, and he's no longer being asked to play that role to a T, but now he's being asked to be the lead creator, you watch him make history. And on one side, early in this game, even when Alex Sarr was playing, because he only played 20 minutes in this game, and I'll get to Washington in a second, Alex Sarr had a handful of blocks on him, but Bam Adebayo was having his way with their best defender guarding him. And throughout the game, what people will highlight, of course, Bam took the most free throw attempts in the game, 36. And I felt like watching the game, all those were fouls. And the rest were calling clear fouls because the Wizards, they're a paperweight team. They have like very few players above 200 pounds who could stay in front of him. And it was just every single possession, Bam taking advantage of that and playing with physicality that they couldn't match. And there was a certain point where Alex Sarr comes out the game. You have Tristan Vucevic, Anthony Gill, and Bilal Coulibaly guarding him. And they didn't have a prayer. And I thought the other cool thing is that Eric Spoelstra said, you know what, you're at 70 points in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to take you out. And a lot of coaches would do that in that moment. And Eric Spoelstra is the one who got the real assist, because while all the Heat's guards were feeding Bam left and right, it was Spoelstra let him play the entire way. And then we watch him break an NBA record and make history. Well, not break a record necessarily, but make history. And I think that's something which is pretty cool, because this is what sports is about. People will say, oh, well, it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing game. Usually when you can't guard somebody, what are you going to do, Riv? They're going to foul them. And Washington, I felt like, fully deserved this. They've been trying to lose games. They sat Trae Young out. They played Alex Sarr 20 minutes. Good. Now, enjoy this. And it was funny, too, because for the entirety of the game, it was like they weren't aware or weren't awake of the fact that Bam was about to drop 80 points on them. And I think a lot of times, NBA players are going to have pride like any great elite level athlete. But it was not until the end of the fourth quarter that they really dialed in and started triple teaming him and started to say, you know what, we're going to make you force a kick out to somebody else. And there was even a point where Eric Spoelstra challenged an offensive foul, and 2 possessions later, their coach is challenging a very clear play that was not going to get reversed into an offensive. And it was like, where was this the entire game? Where was this energy in the second quarter when he was hanging 42 points on you? And I'm happy for Bam. It was a special moment. You watch him hugging his mom after the end of the game, doing this in Miami with his team. This is a historic NBA moment, and I was glad to watch in real time. And more importantly, I'm glad to see Bam Adebayo gain the respect, because not too long ago, a lot of people are dissing him left and right. And a game like this just reinforces just how good of a player he is, and more importantly, just how much NBA players are capable of.
it's kind of crazy that people thought that Domantas Sabonis was anywhere near this dude.
Or
Once upon
Şengün.
a time. Or Alperen Şengün, man. I mean, Bam Adebayo, he just cemented himself with the greatest scorers in NBA history.
Nah, it was cool as hell. I mean, like, listen,
That was called crazy.
if I'm a coach and my player's close to breaking the record, go get it. Like, that's how I would feel. Like, go get it. Especially when you're in a season where, you know, you're kind of in the middle of the pack. You know, you need moments like this to kind of rally the guys, galvanize the troops, have a good moment. And sometimes it's okay. Like, I feel like history is meant to be broken. See people complaining about it, upset about it. Listen, blame the Wizards. Like, and I saw Bam, a few clips of Bam saying, like, don't foul. He's good. But, bro, I get it. Like, you want your teammate, your fellow bro, you know, one of the players that's been in your franchise since he's got drafted to break a record. Like, who fucking cares? Like, people were so serious about it. And I know who the Kobe fans are super
They're not happy.
upset,
Tough day.
angry. I get it, emotional. It's been a rough week for you guys. But for me, it was cool to watch. I like Bam as a player. He's one of my favorite players. First of all, the first 60 was ethical. I don't know what nobody like.
Yeah.
The first 60 was tough. It was like, yo, work. After that, it was just like, yo, bro, like, go see what you can do. Go be great. Like, first of all, the first 40 was bad. The first 30 was on Sarr. He was getting fried up. It was horrible.
And Alex Sarr's a good defensive player.
That's what I'm saying. He was just getting dunked on him a few times, hit him with a spin move. Like, Bam was just out of world. He was just out of pocket that day, and obviously the next couple games he came way
Last
back
night he was
down
doing his
to
thing.
earth. Yeah, they still won the game, but it was cool to see. Like, I've seen Corey Brewer have 50. I've seen
this is 30 more points than that,
have 50. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Like, it happens.
He didn't do this in overtime either.
That's what
He
I'm
had
saying,
70 early in the fourth
and
quarter.
we've seen, like, I think we've seen Luka 70, D mid 70, like D Book 60 or 70, whatever it was. Like, even D Book.
Bro, that shit was different, bro. D Book's game, they were down by 25 fouling to get D Book to 70.
It's low-key the same thing.
Low-key not.
You were up 30 and you
And the
fouled
Suns
the
game?
Wizards.
I think D-Mitch
Well, no,
was
the
the most
Wizards.
ethical.
The Wizards were hitting shots and keeping the game within reach. If the
little
Wizards let it drift off into a 30-point game, you might be talking.
It was a 30-point game.
And they got it back to 15. And they got it back to 15 at a certain
15
point.
for the Wizards, I just still feel like it's 30, you know?
Well, it wasn't a 35-point game.
Yeah.
When Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points, they're up by, I believe it was 30 points fouling to get Wilt to 100.
But at the 7-minute mark, they were up 30.
And then very shortly after that, the Wizards are hitting a string of shots and cutting inside 20 points.
D-Mitch got the most ethical 70+. They were down. They went into overtime. They really needed every bucket.
That shit was electric. And the other thing, too, is that people may look at the box score, but like you highlighted, especially early in the game, it was hyper efficient. But at a certain point, Bam could have 90 points. There's 2 or 3 shots, top of the key. There's time on the clock. And he was barely staying on his feet, rushing to try to get a clip off.
He could have got 100 if he didn't.
He had a
go
few.
like 7 for 21
he had
for
a
three.
few ambitious misses. If he had hit 2 of those threes and then he hits all of his 3 throws, and let's say he makes 5 of those 7 misses, we're talking about a 90-point game.
He shot 43 free throws. You're asking him to make all of his free throws.
Yeah, 36 of 43.
not
He made
making those
36.
free
It must
throws.
have been. I mean, there is a string of them in the fourth quarter. Probably tired playing 40 minutes. If you make 4 or 5 of those, and he hit one of those threes that you rushed to try to get the shot off when he didn't need to, talking about 90 points.
I don't think Bam, the last couple of points that he had, was within the flow of the game, and
the
it
ones
was
that
it was
surpassed
it was
Kobe?
it was pure. No, I'm talking probably like the last, honestly, like 12, 13 points that he had.
The ones that surpassed Kobe.
Some of those are pretty tough.
No, the ones
The
that he
and one-
surpassed. I mean, he spun
shit was nuts.
into a defender, and they called a foul for him when the defender had his hands up.
SGA gets those all the time.
I mean, you're right. Hey, listen, that is modern NBA. You get
It's
a
still
ton of
be a
foul
foul
calls.
if you spin.
Yeah, but I do think that the last couple of fouls that he had weren't really fouls. That's my opinion on it. I don't think they were really foul calls, and they were trying to get the ball back. Listen, I don't have no problem with it. I do think that what we saw late in the game, as echoed by JJ Redick, echoed by Ime Udoka, man, it wasn't real basketball. We know it wasn't real basketball. They were trying to chase the record, and he got it.
I respect it.
It's still a great performance from him. I think you mentioned it. He had 60 after 3 quarters. He had 30 in the first quarter. It was clearly a ridiculous offensive performance from him. But when you're up by almost 30 points with 7 minutes left in the game, and now like these possessions start looking like Bam rush 3, all of
They
this
were up
stuff.
30 in the third quarter.
And then
the Wizards cut to a 15-point game.
And then the last couple of minutes when you are actively fouling the Wizards so you get the ball back, when you intentionally miss a free throw, like, yeah, it wasn't basketball down the stretch, but at that point, he's just trying to chase a record. I think of it like this. I mean, you mentioned the Devin Booker ethicalness. If we have to call a spade at that point, John. We do. I mean, we do. I don't think that this was one of the greatest scoring performances that I've seen, although it was 83. I think Luka's 61-point triple-double against the Knicks was better.
What the hell?
I think that Donovan Mitchell's 70 was better. I mean, I don't think that what Bam did was better than what I saw from Shai on Monday against Denver, if I'm being honest. Just as what was more impressive and what I thought was a better offensive performance. That's just me. That's just me speaking on it. But
only 31 points in 12 minutes.
I do feel very happy for people that are fans of Bam like yourself, John, that you were very happy in the house. I do feel even more happy for people that got the chance to attend the game because NBA tickets are expensive. You know, some people that attend NBA games, they just attend one a year. Families can only afford that. And
what's better, Kobe's 81 or Bam's 81?
Kobe's 81.
You're not surprised that it's Kobe's 81.
They was down like 15, 20.
That was the most impressive offensive game probably in NBA history. I haven't watched them all, but I would say that's the most impressive.
And some families can only make it to one NBA game per year. And those people that were there to witness that live, they got to witness NBA history. And can you imagine attending your first NBA game ever? Maybe this is your first NBA game of the season where you can bring your son, your daughter, your friend, whatever, your girlfriend, to anybody that's important to you, and you witness this. So I think it was fun for the fans because they probably would have left home being like, damn, you should have probably went for the record. He had 70 with 9 minutes left. I think that Bam is catching a lot of criticism because of how it was done. I was not the biggest fan of how it was done, but Bam still did it and still had a great offensive performance. And overall, I think it's a good moment for basketball because now it raises the bar of what is achievable. Now that he has 83, and we saw Devin Booker and Jaylen Green the night after combined for 79 points. We saw Luka Doncic go for 51. I think that this is now going to cause a ripple effect to maybe for players to start going for the record more. We saw Victor Wembanyama in one quarter have like what?
Against the Lakers? Yeah, that was nuts. The Lakers were missing their entire lineup. It was like 30, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
it was like 24.
When I looked at that box score, I was like, man, is Wemby going to go for 100? Like, I think that within our lifetimes in the next couple of years, I do believe somebody's going to break that 100-point mark.
Yeah, you guys haven't been upset when we seen like Steph or KD leave the third and never come back in the fourth. They have 60 points. And we're like, yo, bro, go out there and try to get more. Like, I feel like if it's
Steve Kerr would have had Bam out.
Sometimes like the game is just out of reach and they don't feel like playing the rest of it.
And I respect that. But I feel like sometimes it's like, if you want to go get it, why? Like, go get it. Like, fuck it. Go get the record. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Try for it.
Bam saw an opportunity, and I think that it speaks to a couple of things that are happening within the NBA. The biggest one, I think, is, teams not trying. And the Wizards, I do think that that's what their organization deserves, a moment of humiliation, because they're not trying to win games. They're not trying to put a competitive product on the floor. And now you have this moment to remember you by for history that you allowed this to happen. So I'm happy for everybody all around. I think that this is good for the game of basketball overall. Yeah. But like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of how it happened.
That's fine.
The last couple of points, but it doesn't take away. No, it does matter to me, John.
You want to know what you should be mad at? Alex Sarr playing 20 minutes. I mean, Bam was still having his way with him. Yeah. That is something where it's like, you know what, Alex Sarr didn't play at the end of the game. Why is that?
It's weird. Like they sometimes will cut their minutes in half.
Their coach is Trae Young history for the worst winning percentage of all time.
It's fine to not play Trae Young, but play all your young players. What are we doing here?
My whole thing is
shout
that
to Sharif Cooper too.
The 83, how the last buckets happen.
No, I seen the
wasn't basketball, obviously, but I can't discredit a 70 ball that he had pretty legitimately.
No, the M1 is 71.
The 40 was clean. Like the first 40 was super clean. Like
yeah, he had a great offensive performance. It is a little weird now. You have like Wilt, Bam, Kobe, because out of every player that I thought would go over 81 points, I could have had 1,000 dart throws. And I wouldn't have guessed it was Bam Adebayo.
Doesn't Mo Williams have 60?
He has 52. That's so high, I think. Yeah.
Malachi Flynn had 50.
And he changed his number to that after that too. He got that.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got it, bro. Sometimes it's just your day. Like
it shows what the NBA players are capable of.
It shows how talented NBA players are. Where you could just go in there.
Specialists can drop 50 and
50.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's why it's even more impressive that OKC has the best roster.
Sheesh,
the players are talented now.
No shot
more than ever.
No shot in hell.
Lou Dort ain't touching.
No shot in hell. Lou Dort gets close to 50.
It's funny how you guys discredit Lou Dort, but on any other team, he would be one of their most valuable role players. He's a lockdown defender. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
He's a loud defender for sure. Yeah,
he's a good player.
Yeah,
so he's not a lockdown defender.
He's a good player.
Are you just tight because he pissed Jokic off a little bit? He's a dirty
I'm
play.
being objective. I think he's one of the more overrated defensive players and players in and of itself in the NBA too. Yeah.
Really?
Spice.
All right. Well, the numbers don't back that up. What you're saying? I mean, his numbers, the field goal percentage he holds his
You're
opponents
highlighting
to.
that he's a starter, on one of the best teams.
What
in the
team
NBA.
wouldn't he start on?
They'd
He
be
start on
decent
most teams in NBA.
You think so?
I don't
Yeah,
know
he
about
would.
that.
I think he would.
Don't know.
Like
about that.
important
wouldn't he?
teams. Let's not do teams with obvious holes. Like
Would he start on the San Antonio Spurs?
over who?
No, he would not.
It's really between Castle and Vassell.
So they need shooting, and
Please, so fucking,
him
like,
shooting
come on.
33% from three is not going to elevate.
All right, we'll go through it. Would he start on the Pistons?
We're wasting time in this segment. I think we should move forward.
Who's their shooting guard? The Pistons.
I mean,
it's
Duncan
Duncan's
Robinson.
not getting out the
and-
lineup.
Yeah.
But Lou Dort also gives you lockdown defense.
Probably
Yeah, so
Tobias.
Thompson. Yeah.
Probably
I'm taking-
Tobias. You're not taking us off the lineup.
No,
for
I'm
Lou
taking-
Dort.
You're not.
Sure.
It's either between Duncan Robinson or Lou Dort.
No, you're
Listen,
not
I'm
taking
being real
Duncan
with you.
Robinson off the lineup, bro.
His perception is
Duncan
he's
Robinson for that
their
team,
only good
for
shoot- yeah.
what their space
That's what I'm
needs,
saying, yeah.
I think Lou Dort's a better player than Duncan Robinson, though.
Sure, but you're not taking the shooting out.
He doesn't start on the Knicks.
He made
the
an all
Cavaliers doesn't
defensive
start
team
on.
last year. Credit to him. I think he's a very good defender.
What happened to
but-
be happy for basketball?
No, I'm just being
He's a great
objective.
defender. I get what you're saying, though. I
Great
get what
defender,
you're
okay.
I think
Great
he's great.
defender.
I think he's a
Don't
great
agree. When I
one-on-one
watch him-
defender.
okay.
I'll say
Would he
that.
start on the Lakers?
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Well, they're the third seed right now, so that's a pretty great team.
Shout out
Dude,
to Luka.
it's like 5 teams that are the third
All right, so
seed
you're
right
either
now.
praising Luka or you're shitting on the Lakers. It's whatever.
I love shit on the Lakers.
Would,
You know?
would he start on the Rockets?
He'll fit in. I'll say that. He'll fit
He probably
right
does.
in there.
Is he better than
Cool.
Christian Brown right now? Would he start on Denver?
It's a good question.
Is he? Christian Brown's been playing like trash.
Low-key.
Yeah.
Lou Dort
He's
ain't
not-
never played this bad,
he's
brother.
not
What the
starting in
fuck?
Denver.
Nah.
I mean, Tim Hardaway's been hooping for the most part this year. He's coming off the bench.
Bro said Lou Dort has never played this bad. What? yeah, he probably has, bro.
No, they really
not
gave
starting
Christian
Denver.
Brown a big contract, and he
He
is
wouldn't start.
He's young.
not playing well.
He's like 24, right?
He's shooting 29% from three.
Oh, Christian Brown's shooting don't look good.
Dort's is at what, 32?
33.
33 this year? Dude,
Solely
I'll be
below
honest,
league
I'm
average.
leaving
Well
both
below,
of them open.
Yeah, Lou Dort's well below league
Well, I'm
average.
taking 33% over 29.
Yeah,
I'm leaving both
either
of them
way,
open.
And
guess
last
what?
year he
He's
shot
not
better than
starting
Christian
over Payne
Brown.
Watson, Cam Johnson.
Last year
and
he
these
was
other
left
players.
wide open
41%
again.
from three. He shot. Last year, Christian Brown was career high. Still wasn't better than Lou Dort. I mean, come on, man. I mean, listen, bro. I'm not the biggest fan of Lou Dort, but I feel like y'all definitely are underrated him.
I said
Like,
he's a
not
great
trash.
one-on-one defender. No, nobody said he's trash. There's a fine middle ground we have to find because we're saying he's not great. You're calling him great.
No, I'm saying he's good.
No, you didn't say that. You're
Is he
lying.
a
No.
great-
If you're
All right.
saying he's good, I'm with you.
Is he a great role player?
He's a good role player.
Well, great can mean
Okay.
one thing to somebody and something different to somebody else.
All right, what do you classify as a great role player? Who's a great
A
role player?
high-end
OG
starter.
Anunoby.
A high-end starter is a great role player.
Who is that to you?
OG Anunoby.
I agree.
Okay.
I'd classify him
Dylan
as a high-end
Brooks.
role player.
Okay.
I don't think he's at that tier. I think
No,
he's right below.
I don't think Lou Dort
I
is in
think
that tier.
like good role player, Jabari Smith. Yeah. You don't like that. You don't like that.
Dort's, I put over him. Like, yeah.
I wouldn't.
Oh, what is Jabari? Which version? Because you know
Again,
Jabari gives us like 6 versions a year. Which version?
And also, why is Lou Dort the one getting picked on and bullied on? He's like,
you want to talk about Casey Wallace? I can talk about him.
he's
all
like
day.
OKC's 8th, 9th best player.
Whoa, he's probably what their 5th, 6th most
I don't know,
important.
Shea-
I don't know which player you're talking about.
Shea, Chet, J-Dub,
Yes,
Hartenstein,
and then Dort.
AJ Mitchell.
Oh, if you,
AJ
I mean,
Mitchell's
Dort's been there for a little bit. He's probably
AJ's better.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But then what? Caruso or
Caruso's
Dort.
better.
Caruso. I'll
Okay.
take over. I'll take Caruso over Dort.
But these are all role players.
Yeah,
Casey,
they're all better role
well,
players.
Caruso, I would say, is
He's
a
a high
great
level.
role player.
He's a high level
He's
role
a great
player.
role
I
player.
think we all agree
I
with
think
that.
Hartenstein's a great role player too.
I'm with you.
For-
But, so that's what I'm saying. But Hardenstein and Dort, it's like a drop off low key.
So then we got to 6
Case and Wallace
names
is not
overall.
good.
Case and Wallace or Lou Dort?
Lou Dort.
I'm taking Casey Wallace, bro.
All right.
You're lost.
Lou Dort.
You're lost.
I'm taking Lou Dort.
Casey Wallace is a better,
Isaiah
defender,
Joe-
better offensive player, bro.
He's not a better defender.
Isaiah Joe or
He's
Lou
better
Dort? I think
defender.
He's
the
not a
second
He is
better
a better
defender.
defender.
He can
I
guard
disagree.
different players.
I
He's
disagree
not a
with
better
you.
defender.
You're wrong.
He's not a better
You're lost.
defender.
You're lost.
He's not a better
I don't see
defender.
it that
All
way.
right, but that's 7 names. Then we get to Lou Dort is 8th. So yeah, he's not 9th, he's 8th. And then they have Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, and
No, him
Jalen
and
Williams
Aaron
has
Wiggins
played
is a
really
combo.
well recently.
Yeah, he's been playing
Jalen
well.
Williams has been awesome.
Aaron Wiggins
not
and Lou Dort's a
J-Dub.
comp. I'm not wasting more time on Lou Dort, bro. You're right. Jalen Williams has been playing very well. Yeah.
What is his face? Who are you stuck on?
Aaron Wiggins and Lou Dort is a conversation now?
No. I never said it was.
No, I'm talking about him.
Oh.
Because if it was a conversation, wouldn't the coach on the team play Wiggins more?
Well, some players specialize in different roles. That's
Brother, no.
You're just underrating Lou Dort.
Now who really watches ball
You're underrating
Because
Lou
now
Dort.
we're losing the plot of it all. What are we doing? Now we're talking about dudes who don't get more minutes than or better?
Lou Dort has been the starter on the team for 3 years now.
Aaron Wiggins has had multiple opportunities to take that spot.
He's been the starter since actually
I
2019.
don't think Lou Dort will be back next year.
Probably not.
Why, John?
Oh, there you go.
Probably not,
Okay,
probably
so you're
not,
saying
probably
the starter's going to lose his job. Okay.
That's Aaron fucking Wiggins.
Is it because he sucks, or is it because
I never said that.
They have
You
to
did say that.
They have to. Take
I said
into
him and Aaron
account-
Wiggins again a convo. That's why I
John,
said
they
it.
have to take into account the contracts that are going to kick in the
That's
future.
why.
Lou Dort's
That's
going to
why.
ask for 20 mil.
So
Wiggins
is
gonna
Lou
ask for
Dort
20
leaving because OKC
He'll
doesn't
get
want him
15.
back,
He'll get like
or is he
12
a
to
cap
15.
casualty? He's a cap casualty.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Who's going to get 12, 15?
Wiggins would easily get. I mean,
Wiggins is
that's
getting
what
10. He got
yeah.
a 3-year, 30 million.
Yeah, he'll
What are you
get
talking
12 to
about?
15. If
You're
on the
making
market
things up in
tomorrow.
your brain. This is
If
made
you were
up.
on a different, if
You're
you were on a
just
team
making
where
things up to
Why
help
do you
you
hate
out.
Lou Dort?
Yeah, now it got far. It got too far.
Yeah.
Like it got to like.
I'd say it's a convo. That's all.
What's the convo? To ask Mark. Do you think Mark D thinks it's a convo?
Obviously not. He's not.
I haven't had the
playing
chance to
his ass.
ask him that.
Just
So,
look at his
yeah.
rotations. They'll tell you what's the convo. Wiggins loses minutes in his lineup sometimes because he can't guard nobody. That's a fact, right?
Not the best defender,
I know.
but he's a better offensive player. So
It's not hard to be a better offensive player than Lou Dort. So yeah,
I'm just saying it's a confident, better offensive player.
Is he a better offensive player than Casey Wallace?
Casey Wallace with opportunities to play pretty well offensively. I would say, yeah, maybe slightly.
Doesn't play over him either, huh?
Well, Kaysen's one of the very best defensive players in the NBA.
Interesting.
Players specialize in different roles.
Yeah, listen, man. Sometimes
Kaysen's a better defender than Lou Dort.
different types.
He can
Yeah,
guard.
he
He
can
can,
guard
probably
guards.
guard shiftier guards, but he can't size up like Lou Dort can.
Lou Dort can. I mean, Kaysen can guard up the threes. I mean, Lou Dort is a little bit more scalable in matchups.
I think they're different.
But
I
on
think
the
they're perfect
perimeter-
combination.
Yeah, that's true. On the perimeter, I mean, Lou Dort's like the fourth best defender. They'll fifth with Chet. On the perimeter, you got Caruso, who's a better perimeter defender.
Okay.
You've got J-Dub, and you've got Kaysen Wallace.
Who's the perimeter
So-
player?
What do you mean?
Certain wings play on the perimeter. That's what I'm asking. Who's the perimeter player? Like, what type are we talking about? Because if we're talking like
Well,
you
I'm
said,
talking about 1 through 3. So I'm
Okay.
including Jaylen Williams in this.
I don't think J-Dub can guard ones.
Yeah, but he guards 2 through 5, basically.
I don't think
Okay.
it's crazy to say Kaysen Wallace is over Lou Dort. I think that Kaysen Wallace, especially when Shai was out, showcase flashes. Like I think that like if I'm an organization banking on who can
Take the
scale
cheaper
up
guy,
their
too.
offensive game, like
Ooh.
obviously it's Kaysen Wallace over Lou Dort.
We had an
Maybe.
expansion draft video. I took Aaron Wiggins over Lou Dort because of the contract, and also
That's fair. Like, that's the thing. If it's a contract thing, I get it.
But he's
I get
not
it.
better than Lou Dort though. He's not.
Convo.
He's not. I mean, whatever. I mean, you could think it's a convo, but
Mark D
obviously
don't think it's
the
a
coach
convo,
don't think
man.
it's convo.
We're
Yeah,
going
a
with the
year
coach.
when Lou
We're going with
Dort's
the coach
not
out here.
OKC,
He is the
won't be on this
starter.
combo.
Well, he won't.
Where would
Wiggins
he-
won't
where would
start
he
next
go?
year.
No, Lou Wiggins definitely won't.
I mean, you think if Lou Dort goes to an organization that is or a team that's actually competitive, he won't be relevant there?
Well, if he can shoot above league average from 3, that definitely helps.
Well, he has over the last
He
two
has
seasons
twice.
before this year. So, I mean, listen, man, defense is half the battle, and OKC has some of the premier defenders in the NBA. And Shai draws attention, and they haven't been able to really hit their shots on the perimeter. But defense is half the battle, and it's a huge luxury
Lou
to have
Dort is
them
a
in
good
great
defender.
defenders.
What's your beef with him, man?
Oh, you know exactly why I'm doing
You gotta
this.
get over
He's one of
that.
the dirtiest players in the NBA.
So is Draymond. You love Draymond.
Draymond's actually like an all-star level player.
He's also
Like,
a
he's-
dirty
yeah.
NBA
Oh no,
player.
no doubt about
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
He
but there's
hits-
levels
yeah,
to it.
Yeah, who's dirtier? I'd argue
Lou
they're on the
Dort,
same level.
yeah.
Me personally.
Draymond can actually back it up, bro. Respectfully, Lou
Fair.
Dort cannot.
Lou
Fair.
Dort has been
He's a
solid.
worse version of Patrick
Lou
Beverley.
Dort has been
No, he's better.
no.
No, he's not.
He's better.
Patrick Beverley's a way better shooter. Way
Fair.
better shooter.
Fair,
Don't
fair,
even
fair.
give me this.
He's not a better defender.
Okay, fair enough.
Who's the champion?
It's close though. I mean, Patrick Beverley in his best defensive
Who's
season
the
to Lou Dort.
champion?
I think I'm still going with Patrick Beverley in his best defensive season.
No,
it's
I'm
close.
going Lou
It's-
Dort.
Lou Dort's more versatile. He can guard 3s, guards 4s.
Mm-hmm.
But like the point guard position, I'm taking Pat Beverley.
I just don't know
all
why you're discrediting somebody who started on OKC since like 2020.
You know
He-
exactly why.
Since 2019,
Denver
he has
shit.
been. They almost upset Houston in the first round because he was amazing from 3 that series.
And he was guarding Harden well.
And exactly. He was a great matchup.
I like that
was
version
his
of Lou Dort
rookie
better.
year.
I like that version of Lou
Why?
Dort
This
a lot.
version of him now is better. It's way better than that. That version could not
like-
shoot consistently.
I didn't explain myself at all.
I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I'm getting it.
My goodness. All right, I get it. You like Lou Dort rookie year, better than now because he wasn't a dirty player back then. At least we didn't know that. Let's talk about some rookies though in the NBA. Cooper Flagg and Con Kneppel. According to Polymarket, Con Kneppel now has a 71% chance to be the rookie of the year. Cooper Flagg is at 29%. Do these percentages reflect how you feel about how the award is going to go down?
I'm with Polymarket on this one. To me, it's not very often you see a rookie step into the NBA and immediately be one of the most efficient players in the NBA, especially a 20-year-old perimeter player. Con right now is not only having the best shooting season we've seen by a rookie, but he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league. 44% from three-point land at 20 on 9 attempts per 36. I believe it was 65% true shooting, 56% on twos. It's been the perfect fit in Charlotte because he's thrived off Lamelo and Brandon Miller. But then there's also another layer to it too. After starting 4-14, this Hornet team is 30-19, and Con's been the missing piece of an elite level offense. I think the difference between them is the efficiency, because Con's been an outlier in that. Whereas Cooper Flagg may have the more well-rounded game with the higher usage. You cannot overlook the fact that Con is the missing piece for a team that's finally become an elite offense, and he's doing so with historic efficiency for a rookie.
I think the difference between them two is just the way they're being handled. I think as a ball handler in isolation, Cooper Flagg's being used way more as opposed to this year. Con has only had 13 isolation plays.
It's like 20% usage for Con.
Yeah, for the most part. And as a spot up, a handoff guy, kind of what you want in his role as a shooter. It's a way to open up his game. That's where he's been used at more. But I'm with you. I'm not more of the 80-20%. I think that's a little strong. I think
60-40?
Yeah, I'm more there. I think Cooper Flagg getting hurt, missing some time. I think that's what kind of put him down a bit. But before, when they were trying to experiment him early on in the year and when they weren't utilizing him right, that's what hurt him a little bit. But ever since then, prior to him getting hurt, Cooper Flagg was hooping. Like, he was balling. He was putting on clinic after clinic. Con Kneppel has been the most consistent rookie this year. Also, I think what's going to help his case is him contributing to the Charlotte being one of the best offenses in basketball and them being on that elite turnaround. But both guys have been impressive for different rights. I also think the narrative for Con Kneppel coming into this draft, being drafted so high, people kind of downsizing his game, and now him coming into the NBA being as efficient. Were people doing that? I think a little bit. People were calling him Corey Kispert light. And I think that was I think that was far from it. I think he could put the ball on the floor a little bit better, get to the rim better. He get to his spots a little bit better. Just a better player at a younger age. Yeah. I like both guys. I think Con is the rookie of the year for me. I think Flagg can maybe go on a little bit of a run, but the way Charlotte's hooping right now, I think it's Con's award to lose.
Con Kneppel's the rookie of the year. Cooper Flagg has played 10 less more games than him. I think that's the biggest difference. The difference is that Con Kneppel has been more available than Cooper Flagg, and he's been more consistent throughout the season. Cooper Flagg to start the year wasn't playing that great. Con Kneppel from the start of the season to now, bless you. Con Kneppel has been the model of consistency. I think the only reason why people are trying to make this an argument is because coming into the year, we thought it was Cooper Flagg's award to win and nobody else. And I think there are some people out there that they want to treat this award as something they're going to look back on 5 years from now and say, man, Kneppel over Flagg, rookie of the year. We really messed that up because Flagg projects as a better player than Con Kneppel long term. But we're not talking about what these players can become, what their ceiling is going to be. We're talking about what they're doing right now, current, present time. And Con Kneppel has had one of the most efficient rookie seasons in NBA history. He's providing offense and spacing that the Hornets needed. Even without Lamelo, he's still being effective as well. And he's about to set the record for the most threes made by a rookie in NBA history in a season. If not already said it. He might have already said it because the former record holder was Keegan Murray. And we're talking about a historic rookie season, and Flagg has turned it up, and he scored 50, and maybe that was more impressive than Mam's 83. I don't know. But Cooper Flagg had a great scoring performances. He was finally putting it together. I think what hurts Flagg more than anything in this conversation is that the defense has not really translated from college to the pros. If defensively he was as impactful as advertised, and I'm not saying he should be, he's just a rookie, but if that translated, then he would have a bigger argument because we're talking about his two-way performance. But for this year, we're really just measuring their offense and who have been better offensive players, and Kneppel has been right there, and he's played more, he's been more available, so I think this is his award.
Yeah, I think it is kind of overlooked just how great Cooper's been for a player that came into the NBA at 18. Like, most players at 18 are going to be super raw and unpolished. Look at Kobe coming off the bench, not playing a very big role. Cooper Flagg's come in and had the entire keys of the franchise handed to him instantly, and he's producing. I mean, you can say that maybe there's improvement areas because there are for any rookie, but 27-4 is pretty absurd for a player at that young of an age when he realistically, if he didn't reclassify, would be a college freshman right now. Like you highlighted too, I mean, Con broke the record for threes by a rookie with 25-plus games left in the season, almost 30 games left. And I feel like it's not just the efficiency, but the volume too. Almost 20 points a night. And just being exactly what Charlotte's needed off the ball. Being someone who's not just this great kind of safety valve and kick-out option, but being able to create, especially the screener, getting open that way, and opening up his game to not just be this sensational three-point shooter. He's getting it done inside as well, especially with his ability to play pick and roll, find soft spots in zone, and slowing the game down. Like, scoring should not look this easy for a rookie, and yet Kneppel's done it consistently because of the fact he's able to play at his own speed, play off 2 feet, and most rookies are sped up. In his case, it looks like he's been playing the NBA for years. So I think that's what is most impressive to me.
I think Kneppel, he really started to break away in this race when Flagg started to miss games, because just a month ago, if you look on Polymarket, the percentages were pretty even. It was Kneppel at 44%. After the 50-point performance, Flagg was ahead of him. So Flagg missing these games and Kneppel staying consistent and productive has really hurt Flagg's shot to win this award. But it's also an award that I think Rookie of the Year, you look back on it, it's probably like it's important, but it's probably like the least prestigious award where,
just cool.
It's like, I don't think it's a big deal if Kneppel wins it over Cooper Flagg. It's not that serious, but he has been the best rookie this year, and it makes you ponder about the Hornets' ceiling with Lamelo, him, and Brandon Miller. I mean, they're perfect for each other. I mean, this is kind of like not the same comparison, but like Steph Curry finding his Klay Thompson. So LaMelo Ball has a long ways to go to get to that point, but I think that is kind of what they're building, like a Splash Brothers 2.0.
Drew had to correct me because I pronounced Kneppel's name wrong a few weeks ago.
I think it's Kneppel.
I've pronounced it wrong the entire segment.
Kneppel.
It's Kneppel?
Yeah, it's Kneppel.
I made progress and I took 2 steps back. Okay, Kneppel.
Sounds about John.
Yep.
You don't think the Hornets can be the Splash Bros 2.0?
Man, that's just a lot of expectation on them.
I texted Riv not too long ago about LaMelo and Curry's career trajectory, how Curry had ankle problems to begin his career. Yeah. LaMelo Ball had ankle issues. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is like LaMelo's year where those issues start to go away, and then he starts to reach his ceiling. And then, obviously they got Kneppel's like the Klay Thompson of like the Hornets.
My response was just not as efficient as a scorer.
LaMelo?
Yeah,
Steph. Yeah, it's two different.
Yeah, that was right. As a playmaker, as a passer, so much better. So much better, I think.
So much better?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, a lot of Steph's playmaking is like without the ball in his hands, though. I honestly don't look at it that way.
Yeah, no, I think.
I mean, LaMelo's a better passer, but playmaking.
No, I said as a passer.
Okay.
Because 6'8", you can just see so much more than 6'3".
If LaMelo at this point right now becomes a superstar, is it surprising? Like if he becomes like a bona fide, like
not playing. He's not taking that step forward to superstar level.
Like if he becomes like an MVP candidate, would that be like surprising?
I think he'll peak. I think he'll cap out at high level All Star.
Okay.
I think superstar. I'd be a little shocked.
I would be a little bit surprised, partly because like the rim volume, the volume of attempts getting downhill to the rim, but his talent is pretty undeniable for a player at 6'8" to be awesome ball handler, great shooter. I think the shot selection stuff, will he ever kind of fully find that balance and strike a chord between? Or at least find that symmetry. And I would say right now, I'm similar to you. I think he can be a perennial all-star.
How many cases do we see where you get it this late? I think LaMelo's not late. He's young.
24.
24, that's what I'm saying. But he's 6 years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5-6 years, and you usually know by now.
Yeah, so. It's difficult. I mean, I was doing some just old NBA digging, and Steph Curry, it was pretty surprising when he went and he became an MVP out of nowhere, and he rose to that level. You saw it though, like Rookie of the Year, he finished second to Tyreek Evans.
metrics were
He
good.
had the most throws in the season.
Yeah, his metrics were really good. He just he didn't stay on the floor.
His efficiency was way better than Tyreek Evans. They gave Tyreek Evans the Rookie of the Year because of the PRA of it, and he had a great rookie year.
Nuts.
And then after that, the injury started to pile on Steph. So really, his fourth year is where he broke out, made the playoffs, and averaged like 23 or 22 a night. That was when he really broke out. Then the next year, he became the MVP. So like I was like, okay, in the modern NBA, if there's a player to have that type of trajectory, maybe not an apples to apples comparison, but just a player that from 1 year to the next becomes an MVP level player, and it's as shocking as when Steph did it, who would that player be? Mm-hmm. And there really isn't many players that I like skim through now, and I'm like, I think it could be him. Lamelo was like the closest comparison I could come to. Like, yeah, if that happened, I wouldn't be the most shocked, but it would still be shocking. But if he stays healthy, then I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just getting MVP now is super hard. Like,
oh yeah,
you got phenoms and
I think that player's Shai, which already happened.
Like an All NBA. Exact. You're right. That's an excellent point. Shai was
just healthier.
Who should regret their trade more? The Clippers trading Shai or the Mavericks trading Luka?
Oh, the Clippers trading Shai is so tough in hindsight because none of us really. I expect him to be very good. Bro. The Mavericks was just more incredulous. With the Clippers, it was like, you took this completely different path, but what if you had chosen the door not traveled, the path not traveled? You would have Shai Gilgeous Alexander and a series of draft picks.
Kawhi, you know?
I get it, and that's resulted in one conference finals appearance, which he was not healthy on the floor for, and 0 championships. Shai won a championship.
I think, would he have won there? I don't know.
Season. It's a big time fumble from the Clippers trading Shai.
It's hard. It's really hard.
In hindsight, it is.
It's hard to go back and say if we kept SGA, would he be the same exact player? Will we get the same exact role? So I think we can agree we trust in the building of the Clippers. For the most part, they can build a good team. But in hindsight, you look at it and you say, well, you gave up all this to get Kawhi and PG at the time. Like, it's not a crazy deal at the time.
No, it was championship or bust.
And I think this Luka shit is nuts. Like, I think that's the worst trade in NBA history.
Yeah, they traded Luka when they had a championship.
And you traded AD like a couple months ago. So you really like this shit is terrible.
Like the Clippers are pretty. I think they're a well-run organization, and I think the proof is in the pudding.
They just made one mistake.
The Luka trade aged as poorly as one would have.
Exactly. Like when you look at the Clippers, they steady in the 2010 since Chris Paul got there. They make a big time swing. It doesn't work out. And now they have kind of rebuilt this thing nicely where we're going to talk about Darius Garland and company later, but they've built this thing out nicely so where the Clippers feel like they're stable. Like I know the Lakers have the championships, but the Clippers organization and how they're run feels more stable to me than the Lakers.
Yeah, lately they've been able to pivot and maneuver well. Yeah. Like you mentioned, we're going to talk about him a little later, but just being able to bring in DG, bring in Benedict Mathurin, even last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was, bringing in Norman Powell, having Bogdan on the roster, like they've been able to just pivot and move in the right direction.
By the way, it's easily the Clippers. I mean, the Mavericks miraculously got Cooper Flagg and some extra capital. I mean, by that logic, the trade itself, the Anthony Davis component of it aged as poorly as possible, but it was the best case scenario. A 1% chance to gain a golden ticket, and you got that in Cooper.
It's just Kawhi's fault. If he just saw the vision on Shai, then it could have been Kawhi and Shai as a duo.
Side note, have you guys, this is completely unrelated, may not add anything to the show. Have you ever seen the Interstellar Cooper Flagg edit on TikTok? Mm-mm. It's the best sports edit I think I've ever seen. By far and away. It's got the interstellar audio of Cooper. You can't go back and change history.
Yeah.
The past has already happened, and it's a Cooper Flagg edit, bro. It's literally perfect. I have to say in the chat.
And it's about the Mavericks, I'm assuming. Like
it's about Cooper Flagg. Like you can't go back and change the past because that's the theme.
There was Matthew, he's crying and seeing his kids.
He's saying no. He's saying no, like,
Yeah.
He's just watching them
grow
up.
And then, as the background starts to pick up, it's Luka turning to Cooper Flagg, bro. It's insane.
Yeah. I feel like 88% of people was taking that trade to get Paul George at the time.
Yeah. I mean, probably 99%. Yeah. I mean, at the time,
I would have done it too. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Like, Shai was a lottery pick, but he was a late lottery.
Yeah. Nobody thought Shai would be this. And Paul George together.
Shai did show flashes, though. Like, I will say the playoff series he played.
I thought he would be great.
You kind of looked at Shai like, yo, this guy is good.
Him. That's why they put him in the deal.
It was like, this guy is good. Like, there's something to him. But she didn't know what it was going to be exactly. Yeah,
I thought
All-Star.
Didn't think he was going to be genuinely not the 33 he's been doing last couple years. I thought it was gonna be the 25 a game. Yeah, I think
24,
that was gonna be his 25. I was like, yo, I love this kid coming out.
He broke out
he was
again.
Gonna be special. Yeah,
in OKC.
Bro did it
multiple.
like he broke out like 2-3 different times. It was nuts.
I think the similarities, like had Shai stayed with the Clippers, the similarities to the beginning of his and Kobe's career is kind of crazy. They both got drafted by the Hornets. They both got traded to an LA team. Kobe to the Lakers and Shai to the Clippers. It would have been kind of cool if Shai got to live out his career with the Clippers and you have this all-time great with Kobe Bryant, shooting guard, Lakers. But now the Clippers fans have their own all-time great shooting guard that they got to see grow in Shai. And it's like from two LA teams, both playing for LA teams. Like that story just sounds amazing, but then you go say OKC, he's been taught a great career for himself.
He got Benedict Mathurin.
Like think about it. Like if he just stayed with the Clippers,
top 5.
because I think at this point, like Shai, by hearing how he speaks and how he approaches the game, he was gonna be this regardless. We might have not seen it coming, but it was going to happen anyway. So I think if he stayed in the Clippers, he would have been an MVP. It wouldn't have mattered. So it's just interesting to think about a scenario where he stays with the Clippers.
The Clippers have developed talent. Some of it's in bigs like Zubats, but they're a well-run team, like you said.
Like, what's the team? If Kawhi's like, you know what, I'll stay even if Paul George doesn't come. I mean, that is
low-key, he want to be in LA regardless, but there was the smoke that he would go to the
If it wasn't going to be
Lakers.
PG, it was going to be Jimmy. He was bringing somebody. Yeah. Like, somebody was coming with him.
But low-key, Shai, Zubac, and Kawhi, you just live that out.
You just have to wait so long.
Yeah, you have to wait like 4 seasons.
And who else would they bring in to kind of stunt like what SGA is going to be doing?
You've waited so long. Kawhi is playing right now like a top 5 player in the world, and Shai's MVP, bro.
Yeah, like imagine that duo
Wait 5
today.
years to get this.
Like today, like even Shai's second year, he was good enough to be a second, third option on the playoff team. That's what he showed in OKC.
He was a third for them.
It was him, Schroeder.
In the play,
Gallinari was good too.
I think like the thing is, it was always going to be like you mentioned, he was always going to show this, but I feel like him and OKC was the perfect marriage of them allowing him to kind of just be this open guy.
Yeah.
You know, it was always going to be Kawhi's team.
Yeah.
Even now, like, granted, SGA is better than Kawhi.
It might have became Shai's team as time progressed.
But Kawhi is so good where you just can't deny it.
It's definitely Kawhi's team for the first, like, 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
And then with injuries, it shifts into Shai's team. I just realized now it's been 7 years since then.
Yeah.
In my head, it's like, yeah, it's been half a decade. No, it's been 7 seasons that Shai's
But that's a good point. The injuries, too, as when Kawhi goes out, Shai being in the game and, like, having these, like, crazy performances, it would have definitely been a conversation of, like, maybe you have to give the full keys to Shai. Yeah, I mean, I could just imagine the narratives.
What are the margin moves you make in between now that you have SGA and Kawhi? Like, you still have some of your picks. Like, so much to think about. So much.
I mean, I know that in hindsight, you do the trade like 10 times out of 10, but I could only imagine if I was a Clippers fan, I'd be like, damn. We really
at the time, they were probably like, we're good. Like, we're getting, like, you've managed to keep your core. And then you're bringing in Kawhi, who just off a ring, PG, just off an MVP-like season. You're like, dude, we're good.
Yeah, because the Clippers were a playoff team and then added Kawhi. It wasn't like they needed a rebuild.
No.
Like, they were a playoff team. Like, the Paul George trade was to take them over the top. But, like, the Kawhi thing, too. But, you know, Kawhi could have went to that team and they would have been a consistent playoff team.
Yeah.
The Paul George move was supposed to take them over the top and become favorites. But even if he goes to the Clippers and nothing else happens, like, they're still
they had all that depth in the Chris Paul trade.
Yeah.
And you ideally have that, and then you consolidate some of those picks into a different story.
Their year was 2021.
Crazy Pandora's box.
That was their year, like 2021. And it's a shame. Kawhi hurt his knee, meniscus. Damn. You hate to see it for Clippers fans, truly.
Yeah, if you win a championship, none of this matters. But the fact that you didn't win, it's like, damn, you know, it sucks.
In another universe, we get Clippers Nets finals in 2021.
Would have been awesome.
Nets would have won, but yeah.
Maybe not.
I mean, James Harden, Kyrie, KD,
It would have been 6-7.
Those first 2 games of that Bucks series, they could have told me anything. I would have believed it.
They were just ridiculous, man. So we'll talk about Darius Garland now, and we'll talk about Trae Young too, because those are the star point guards that got dealt at the deadline. Darius Garland to the Clippers and Trae Young to the Hawks. What have you thought about their tenure thus far with their new teams? The Trae Young one with the Wizards, very minimal. There's really not much to pick from just yet because they don't have their full roster.
He said they'll be good next year.
But Darius Garland to the Clippers, there's more depth to this subject because we have seen him play more. He has looked good, and also Kawhi has been healthy and he's been playing. So we've kind of seen like the Clippers' full team.
Yep.
Mathurin, Garland. We've seen them now integrated into this team. What have been your thoughts?
I think once we'll get him off minutes restrictions, we'll really get the what's how do I want to say this?
Full picture.
Yeah, because I was going to say something wild, but we definitely can get the full picture. First of all, there's small sample size with them three on the floor. They've been incredible, awesome. The pace is different. They've been complementing each other well. Of course, like you mentioned, Kawhi has just been at an abnormal level. I'm glad some of our podcast members can finally come around to respecting Kawhi, because I've been here for years. Now we're fans all of a sudden, though, Joel. It's really funny how life goes. Not you, John, just a man that sits in that seat. But I say that to say DG's been, when he's healthy and when he's on the go, this is what he looks like. This is a high-end offensive player that's one of the best passers in basketball. That's an efficient guy that can hit the three ball, has a elite trait of skills with the ball, can get to his spots, can get to the rim, has the nice floater, and he can pick you apart in the pick and roll. And he's always going to be a liability on defense just because of how small he is, but you can see the effort is there. Also looks like he's gaining a little bit of muscle, so I think that's cool too. But like I said, minutes restriction, Mathurin has just been a plug-and-play spark for them, especially off the bench as a scorer. When Kawhi needs to take a rest, Mathurin doesn't, he doesn't take his foot off the gas. He's playing really well. He's been hooping and dominating. Then guys like Jordan Miller and Yannick off the bench and Kobe Sanders, like they've been able to just get younger, get more athletic, get more up-tempo in their game when they have these young guys in. And it's been awesome. I think DG was a perfect reset for them. I think it was get younger, get healthier, just get somebody who can, if Kawhi does end up retiring soon, we'll have a guy in his prime being able to perform. They're probably going to keep Mathurin. I hope they do, because that's a really good player for them. And just to try to find more athletes. And I think them plugged in with Derrick Jones Jr. has been really good. But DG's looked good. He's looked healthy. That's what you want to see from him. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries this year. That's why they dealt him. And now that he's gotten healthier, you can see that toe injury really, he's a speedy guard. Small 6'1". If you lose your speed, you have nothing. And I think with him getting his speed back, you can see the explosiveness. You can see the shiftiness coming.
Yeah, the one thing holding back DG is health. And I think it's been an awesome fit, because we saw earlier in the season the Clippers kind of go all in with this older group. And very early on, we saw the injuries and players regressing. That wasn't going to be the path forward. And with this new look, I've loved it. And the Garland impact has been felt immediately in 125 minutes, plus 17 and a half. Offensively, shooting the ball on an elite level. It took some time in that Warrior game, especially, where they're pressuring him a lot. He's trying to build a rapport with his new teammates after spending his entire career in Cleveland. But I've loved the playmaking, the injection of speed, and just the youth as well. And on the Ben Mathurin point, while he has been shooting the ball well, we saw it last year in the postseason, he gets to the foul line at an elite level. And when you've got someone that's getting the line 9-10 times a night, that gives you such a high floor as a scorer. And I think long-term for Los Angeles, it's huge, not just because of the fact you're an older team, but we really don't know what's going to happen with this Kawhi Leonard contract, whether or not the Clippers have picks rescinded, and whether or not you're going to have the same draft capital when you already had a limited kind of amount of resources. So I feel like to get DG and Bank Mathurin was great. And I'm happy for Darius too, because it's a change of scenery that I think he's going to still perform well in. And he's one of my favorite guards in the game. I think we're seeing right now him get back to what he was last season. Now he's an All-NBA player.
They've been able to pivot wonderfully from the Shai trade, really, because they gave up all their draft picks for the future. They went all in on a timeline to win a championship, and their future was looking bleak. And for them to turn it around as quickly as they've had, where now they have young players that are playing within their roles. You have a star in Darius Garland, optimistically, and then Benedict Mathurin. He can continue growing as a scorer. He's already a 20-point per game scorer now. He can continue growing his game. And then they've had rookies and young players make an impact. You mentioned Yannick, but then Kobe Sanders, Jordan Miller. Like, these players are coming out of nowhere, and they're able to provide productive minutes. And if that pick lands between 5 and 9 and they get the Pacers' first-round pick, you're adding a young prospect, which right now, it's not signed and sealed that top 4 is going to the Pacers. Because right now there's basically a 50-50 shot that could be the Clippers pick. So if everything goes their way and they add a young player, a young prospect in a loaded draft class to this team, now you feel even better about what the Clippers' future can be. And they've pivoted from all the moves they made having no assets to now having something to build off of that. And you mentioned Garland's impact with the Clippers. He was amazing against the Knicks. He was amazing against the Timberwolves. They blew out the Timberwolves. The Clippers are now, they're not just a good story, they're a great team. They have played up to competition. They have beaten them. They have looked dominant, like against the Timberwolves. And they are very well in the playoff race. Like, we're probably going to see the Clippers in the playoffs, and depending on matchup, they're a scary out for certain teams.
They'll play the Spurs or OKC unless they can get to 6.
For them to be over 500 now is a miracle after the first 20 games.
Yeah,
you don't see this often.
Yeah,
or really ever.
This is probably the 8. I don't know when Steph's going to come back from his knee injury, and being as if he's not going to come back, this Golden State team can't win anything. They've completely fallen off a cliff. So. And then this is Steph coming back from a knee injury, probably going to have to carry a ton of the load. I'm thinking Golden State should probably just tank the season. Like, it's over. Let's try to get a pick here, bring in some talent. But then do you trust Kerr with this talent? That's always the question. But it's looking like the 8 teams we have right now in the West are probably going to be the teams that are in. And it's a good bunch. I'm excited because I think Phoenix is 7, Clippers are 8. Then it's Minnesota 6, Houston 5, Denver 4, Lakers 3. Yes, Spurs 2, OKC 1. Pretty sure it's that. But that's a good 8, and I like it. It's going to be fun.
In knowing that, we are now going to say if we're in or out on these NBA teams making the NBA Finals this year.
The NBA Finals.
Yes, combination of West and East teams. So not winning the whole thing, but just being able to make it there. First team up, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I'm out. I don't think they can make it to the finals.
In this Western Conference, I'm trending away. Before the season, I'm saying yes. Right now, I'm going to say take a lot to get there. Take a lot.
I'm out on this too. Minnesota has been disappointing. It doesn't help that they have 2 players in the starting lineup that they're not active defensively. That's Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle.
Say that again?
Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle.
They're not what?
Anthony Edwards.
What'd you say?
He picks his matchups. They're not active on defense. According to play-by-play data,
interesting, John.
Only Luka and Harden move less on average than Anthony Edwards on defense.
John, you heard that group?
I do think people underestimate just how much load there is for a player
I feel you.
to be the lead engine of an offense and a second level point of attack.
John, you know what it is, John? I just feel like when I say things and I get called crazy, and then when people repeat it, it kind of feels like you're mocking me.
Are you listening to
I do think that
Ant
is a fantastic defender
when he's locked in.
When he's locked in, he picks his matches much like
Players
Jaylen
gotta
Brown.
Conserve energy.
I feel like I hear you.
Play the role ties.
And you have a point, but I also feel like
some of the baskets he's given up are pretty unexcusable.
As a team defender, there's just no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the offensive responsibility. We are here on defense telling you we're gonna hide you, and all you got to do is just be alert on that end. And also, of course, it's Finch too. I don't like Finch's. I think he's gonna get fired. I do. I think Chris Finch. I don't like his defensive game plan with all these. Minnesota really will let you die out there. Like, it's actually insane. But
there's such a big load on
Ant
McDaniels.
supports Chris Finch, but I just deep down I have a hard time.
I think Ant is just a loyal guy. I think that's what that is.
Jaden McDaniels has such a load on him on the perimeter to perform and shut down players every night.
It's either he stops them or nothing. He gets no help.
He really can't. He doesn't get any help. So it's hard. Now, the next team up, the Denver Nuggets.
Yes.
If they're healthy, I'm in.
There are some questions, of course. And I think the level of the supporting cast, you haven't gotten the best of Christian Brown. There's even like this question of, are you going to get Aaron Gordon and Payne Watson both on the floor in the postseason? But I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to go with yes. They just need to be healthy. The defense has been concerning as of late, but I think a healthy Aaron Gordon changes a lot of things. The Houston Rockets.
I'm out.
Same boat as Minnesota, but I have less confidence in them. I'm going to say it'd take a lot to get there. So I'm out.
I think they have a lot of flaws with their team. And I just don't think that Kevin Durant can still be the offensive engine of an offense in a postseason that can go to the finals. If he had a better team, if he had more help around him, I could see it. There's a world, but this team is too flawed and he has too many flaws that can't make up for that. Next team up, the San Antonio Spurs.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I think they can.
This team...
I mean, they're great without Wemby.
This team is truly... It's a sensational offense with Wemby because he's the most transformative defender in the NBA. And I think that in the postseason, we're going to see that more and more on the biggest stage. But then, like you highlighted too, all the supporting cast has stepped up in a big way. Shout out to Kellen Johnson. He's one of those role players I think has really embraced the expectations that this team is earning. And they've been doing this against everybody. Oklahoma City, Denver, Detroit, Boston, New York, every single elite level team, they've been taken care of. So I think with what we've seen right now in the regular season, them against Oklahoma City, I could see it going to 7 games.
The Phoenix Suns.
I'm out. I think they're a good team. I don't think they can make the finals, though.
Great story of the season, but no one has his expectation on them.
Yeah, I'm out on this, but I do want to talk about how they're great of a turnaround they've had. It's similar to the Clippers where, I mean, a year ago, if you were to poll every NBA fan, what is the team that you don't want to be right now? People would say the Phoenix Suns. You ate Bradley Beal's contract. Kevin Durant, you traded him. But now they have rebounded beautifully, and they have a lot of good young players. Rasheer Fleming is playing. He just had 16 points the other night. Kamen Malawach is getting more minutes because Mark Williams is out. And he has provided a big impact defensively. He's still raw, but Jordan Ott is emphasized in earning your spot. And Malawach, he looked like he belonged out there when he played. Colin Gillespie, if we want to make the most improved player award just who turns into a star that we were kind of projecting to be one already, then I guess he doesn't win the award. But from just who improved the most from last year, Colin Gillespie was an out-of-the-rotation player who now is a solid starting point guard who's playing with remarkable efficiency.
So he should be one over KG?
I think
KG was damn near out the league last year.
Keontae George?
Yeah. Like, people were out.
That's
like,
a close one. Ryan Rollins.
Out the league is strong. Killian Hayes was starting the other night.
To be fair, yeah. But what
Ryan
I'm saying, like, people were low on him.
too.
Yeah, Ryan Rollins is a great shout. Jordan Ott deserves way more credit. I don't think the average NBA fan really talks about him, but he has been the missing piece. They've been churning through head coach after head coach, and he's been the one to figure it out. And this is with Devin Booker. You said earlier in the season, Devin Booker's having a down year, and they're 11 games over 500.
He's playing a lot better now.
He is.
Yeah.
But the third-point shooting, I think, is what everyone talks about. It's so hard to understand how someone could be so efficient with great touch or just so gifted and simultaneously not as productive.
Like the Suns now have an identity. They play with toughness, passion. Devin Booker is bought in, and when your leader buys in, that's huge. The optimistic viewpoint is that Jalen Green can learn from Devin Booker and become a consistent player because he has crazy highs. But then their center rotation, Mark Williams, Oso Iguodala, Malawach, that's really good. Oso has really improved his game. You have Rasheer Fleming, who now makes like Ryan Dunn a bit expendable because Ryan Dunn hasn't been able to shoot the ball. But his defense is still incredible. And then Grayson and Royce are really good role players. Like, you know, they have a solid team. But
those guys are dangerous shooters.
Yeah, they are a really good team. I'm curious to see how much they can improve in the years to come because they did an awesome job this year. The LA Clippers.
I'm out.
Impressive turnaround, but no.
Yeah.
Kawhi.
You said the Clippers. Yeah, I'm out.
Kawhi is playing at a top 5 level, and I think he gives them a chance in the first round to win a series. But you need...
You know they would play OKC
need Garland.
with the Spurs. If you could beat OKC and the Spurs...
If they get to the 6... If they could play the Lakers... If
the
the Lakers are 3,
yeah.
they could beat the Lakers.
Okay. They could beat any 3, 4, 5.
You get a healthy Garland. You have Mathurin playing super aggressive. We saw him take off. I think
their goal should be trying to play Houston.
Houston wouldn't be... that'd be a 4-5 we're looking at?
Or 3. They're all so close. It's
it's a lot of time to determine what the seeding is going to be. I think they could win a playoff series with Kawhi playing at this high level, but I don't see the finals.
The LA Lakers.
I'm out.
Luka needs a lot more support to get there.
Yeah, I'm out on this. I don't think their roster is good enough, but since January, Luka's averaging 32 points, 40% from 3 on 11 3-point attempts per game. I don't think that Luka is getting enough credit for how he's turned around. Beginning of the year, I was critical of him. I didn't think he was playing his best basketball. He was very inefficient, wasn't getting to the rim, at least by his standards, inefficient from 3. But since January, that efficiency has skyrocketed. He's even dealing with off-court stuff. I mean, they recently reported that like he's like divorcing from his wife that he has like 2 kids with. Yeah, not my business, but clearly I'm mentioning that because he's going through a lot off the court too. Yeah. And he's still playing at a very high level. Yeah. So I think Luka, he deserves more praise and recognition for how he's playing this year. OKC.
The Lakers are just so bad. I'm in.
Oklahoma City, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all in. Yeah, I think the Lakers are so bad and all year long it's just like a Luka problem.
Best player on the team.
That's it. But I think, you give him the team, he can get there. He's shown it.
Like, they're just, like, looking at their record, they're, like, not good against good teams.
No.
They're 20-4 against the bottom 10 in the league. That's basically their record right there.
I'm gonna save this for after we finish all the teams because I have something interesting to talk about. But all right, on to the East. The Orlando Magic.
They've been on a 6-game win streak, but I'm still not ready. I don't think the infrastructure offensively or Paulo as a number one option is where it should be. So I'm gonna say no.
East is so tricky. I'm gonna say out, but this is a sneaky dark horse.
They've been winning games. Yeah.
Next team up, led by one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, but the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo.
I'm out.
I love what they've kind of been able to find here. Norman Powell having a great year, but Hero's injuries, and then also I just don't think the infrastructure around their core three is quite where it needs to be.
I'm out on this too. The New York Knicks.
I'm in. It's going to take some things going their way to get there. My concern level is this Cat as number 2. And I also do kind of question with the Eastern Conference and the top end of the NBA getting better and better, can Brunson be still the best player in every single series? If you're playing Detroit, if you're playing Boston, he won't be. So I think it's going to take some things, but if the Knicks got to the finals, I would not be too surprised.
I'm in
on this. I feel like at our best, we can make the NBA finals. But Mikal Bridges needs to be more consistent in the playoffs. That's all I care about. And you mentioned Jalen Brunson. I don't want to try to highlight him and act like he's a problem because he's not. I think Josh Hart is a big problem on the offense. We're not allowed to really be 5 out because they just help off of him. It scares me the next 2 to 3 years of Jalen Brunson and what that's going to look like with how many small guards we've seen just regress rapidly. When you're a smaller guard, any injury that makes you even 5-6% slower, it evaporates a lot of your high-end game. Totally. And Jalen Brunson, since the new year, he really hasn't had those consistent, just crazy scoring performances. It looks much tougher for him. When I watch him, it looks like he's having a much tougher time scoring as easy as he used to score. And that is my biggest concern because now, over the last 3 years, he's averaged 30 points per game in the playoffs. That's a lot of mileage on him. He's had to shoulder a big load. And now, to me, I'm seeing him lose a little bit of a step. He's still a fantastic player, but instead of averaging 30 and expecting that from him every night, it's more like I'm expecting 25. And that drop off, while it might not look substantial, it is. I mean, that's like the difference between you being a top 5 offensive player to you being like one of the top 20 offensive players.
The margins are razor thin with those small guards.
Yeah, so with me, that's my concern with Brunson, and I think this playoff run is going to reveal a lot about the long-term outlook on the team. Mikal Bridges performing, Josh Hart's future.
I think this is the Knicks' last good chance of making a finals push with this team. After this year, when Boston gains more continuity with this new core and the Pistons get marginally even better, the Knicks window is going to close shut. So,
the Boston Celtics.
What you thinking about? It's yes. Yeah.
I'm in on it. They're my favorite right now. With Jason Tatum back.
Tatum coming back is miraculous to me. I did not expect this.
He looks rough.
And he has another 15 games to shake off that rust and a first-round series to do the same exact thing. And you have Jaylen Brown playing at such a high level and a supporting cast that has developed as best as you could possibly ask for. I look at Keita, the younger wings like Jordan and Walsh playing their role in 15, 20 minutes per game. You have the depth, and you have an elite coach in Joe Mazzulla. So I'd say the answer is yes.
Not a big fan of their center rotation. Tatum does look rough, but it's the East.
Keita's been playing well.
I don't think he's a playoff center. I think he gets beat and drop a little bit too much. I think certain teams that can outshoot them will be able to take advantage of him. Then I don't like if Vooch is in the lineup. I think they're probably going to have to go small more often. I don't think
you really play Vooch a whole lot. Yeah. But Keita offensively is very
I think that's good. I think that's what the value is. But I think I was watching them versus the Cavs the other night, and just Keita at times looked a little bit lost out there on the defensive side. Especially dealing with Mobley out there in the perimeter, kind of takes away his value if he does have to guard somebody that can shoot the ball. Not saying Mobley is just an all-world shooter. But yeah, I'm still in. I think even Tatum looking rough, this is a team that's still good enough in the East to go.
The Detroit Pistons.
Yes. I'm surprised you're thinking about this. This is your squad, but you've seen a lot of Pistons games this year. You've watched every single one. So
damn near all of them. It's tough, man. When they can't even hit little bit below league average. It's a hard watch.
Their path to the finals is going to be different than everybody else.
They're going to have to play.
It's going to be a completely different.
They're going to have to play Cleveland or New York in the second round.
It's going to look like the Knicks series last year. Their style of winning games in the postseason.
I don't think they have the shooting to get back in games. That's my issue. It's a lot on Cade. I'm in, but it's a long thought process.
So you would take the Knicks over the Pistons? Because you said the Knicks rather convincing.
I think they have a recipe for it. I think with Detroit, they're still trying to figure it out. I think their defense is all world. I think it can be great.
Who has a better chance of going to the finals?
Detroit.
Okay.
Because the Knicks will have to play Boston.
So your answer should be yes then. He said yes to the Knicks.
The Pistons are the first one seed in a while that I'm not fully convinced on.
Does it give you Utah Jazz 2021 vibes?
It's similar to that, too. Where it's offensively, that's where you really have question marks about them. That's it. If you load up on Cade and you force somebody else to create, what does that look like in a playoff series?
It's really, if a team's snuffing out Duncan Robinson and that's becoming an issue on the defensive end one-on-one, and you can't rely on him every single game to close, that's when I'm worried. But if Duncan can close, I believe they'll have just enough floor spacing with their defense being the best in the conference to make it to the finals.
Who else is in the lineup?
They really could have used Malik Beasley this season.
I agree. I wish they'd brought him back.
But ideally, you want a two-way player. Someone that's credible enough from the defensive end. And that's going to be their biggest thing this whole season, find that.
I just think there's too many guys you can leave open. That means walling up on Cade. I do think the defense can carry you, but it's really going to take an insane step up from the group. I think they can do it. I just think the only reason I was hesitant with the Knicks, that's why I was doing the seeding thing, is because they'll play Boston next round. And I think Boston will beat them. That was where I was like, all right, that's fair. Detroit would play probably Cleveland or Orlando or one of those other teams, and those are tough matchups. Cleveland has given them a shit ton of problems.
And the last team I'll mention, because I'm assuming that we're not going to think the Raptors, Hawks, Sixers, or Hornets make the finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'm in, but I'm optimistic. I'm in, but I'm thinking.
I'm just expecting everything to go wrong. Answers.
I'm in on it if things don't go wrong. That's my thing.
Things tend to go wrong for Harden. They tend to go wrong for
if they are just healthy. Now it's on Harden, man. How about the best player on the team shoulder the biggest load on the team?
Well, he's the one that's healthy.
Team over the hump.
Yeah,
that's it,
brother. He had 50.
How about the young gun Evan Mobley? How about you step up your game and you lead us there?
Fair.
How about we not put the burden on a 37-year-old who's having a great year?
Dude, stop it.
Who's still an all-star?
Dude, he's not the only 37-year-old
expectation. They
expectations.
traded for him to get a more reliable version of Garland, and he immediately gets hurt and playing through injury.
You Harden fans run
and
from
they
expectation,
will.
man.
No, it's not that.
It's so embarrassing.
I don't have an issue with Harden being expected to perform.
Yeah, it's like so embarrassing.
But
like, they run
Harden,
from expectation.
But Harden, I know Harden's gonna be fine.
No, you don't.
My question marks are with Jared Allen. Can you not be soft in the postseason,
bro? Yeah,
please.
That's
Evan Mobley. Can you play your best basketball?
But typically, when Harden disappears in the postseason, it's because he's dealing with some ailment.
I think Harden's going to be fine.
But we won't mention the element until he plays poorly in Game 6, and then that's when.
Then it's all like, oh.
I think Harden's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
Credit to him for playing through the issue, but I just don't see this.
The thumb?
Yeah, I don't see this as going smoothly. I think things are going to go.
They don't need what he did in Philly, which is give you a good game and then give you a bad game and then give you a good game and then bad, then good. They don't need that. Cleveland needs all four, and I'm saying this, all four of their guys, plus the role players, to be consistent on a night-to-night basis.
That's what needs to happen. I think Harden will do his job. I think he will play his role fantastically.
Play like a star.
It's about the other supporting castmates. You got to step up. You got to hit your shots, and you got to even elevate your game. I'm looking at Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They have to elevate their games.
I had to look up what a non-displaced fracture meant because I didn't know until looking it up. It's when you break the bone, but it's the pierces remain properly aligned and haven't shifted.
So let me ask you something. Do you think that it's something that the Lakers they have a better record win percentage wise without LeBron?
Well, LeBron needs to go.
All right. This is what I want to get into. Is it crazy to say LeBron James isn't a top 50 player right now in the NBA?
Top 50.
Top 50.
I think
crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 50 names here.
Yeah, I know you put bullshit down.
You let me know, just current right now day.
Mm-hmm. I'll stay quiet until I disagree.
If you would take LeBron James over them. Okay, I'm going to go through number 1 to 50. Right. Shai, Jokic, Luka, Wemby, Giannis, Anthony Edwards, Cade, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Jason Tatum. That's 15. Chet Holmgren, Pascal Siakam, Jamal Murray, Jalen Duren, LaMelo Ball.
Stop.
He's at 20.
I don't like Duren. But keep going. But I just want to stop and say I don't like Duren right now.
I don't fully agree with those two names. I'll double check, but I'll let you keep going.
I think if the Lakers had Jalen Duren instead of LeBron, they would be infinitely better.
Well, yeah, because of the fit positionally. Yeah.
But then I think if Detroit had LeBron,
They sorely need a center.
they'd be better
Detroit
too.
had LeBron instead of Duren, I don't think they'd be better.
Why not?
Because they don't have their center.
They have
He's an
Isaiah
all-star
Stewart.
center. But Jalen Duren's an all-star center.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And LeBron doesn't solve their spacing issues. He's not shooting well from three this year.
They're a better team with Isaiah Stewart on the floor.
Scotty Barnes, James Harden, Bam Adebayo.
Bro, you're disrespectful, yo.
I'm not. LeBron's still great.
Evan Mobley. At this point in time, Evan Mobley's not over LeBron.
Not yet.
I could see Riv's entire philosophy on evals has changed a lot. Wow.
How you figure?
Old you will not do this.
Mobley.
I miss the old Riv a lot more than
Mobley has not progressed like we wanted him to.
But he's still one of the best defensive players in the world.
He's not even that. He hasn't been that all-world defender this year.
But still, I mean, offensively, he gives you 18. He provides high-level defense. He rebounds.
He rebounds.
Like, what does LeBron do better than him right now?
LeBron's a better scorer then.
Yeah, I think that
LeBron's just as good of a rebounder.
I don't know. At this current time, I don't know if you're getting that consistency from him as a rebounder like you are from Mobley. But we can go on.
The two names that I'm like, I wouldn't are Durant and LaMelo.
Okay. Cat. All right, I'll keep going. Joel Embiid. From what we've seen when Embiid was on the court this year.
You're good. I'm not going to talk.
You're getting no arguments from me.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson. Desmond Bane.
I didn't say anything.
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, LeBron's better.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, LeBron's better.
All right, let me just keep going.
He's too early, honestly.
Yo, Bane is yeah.
Jalen Johnson's
I'm
also
putting
pushing
LeBron
it.
over Bane.
Brandon Ingram.
No.
What he's done for Toronto, being their best
He's a
half-court
negative.
scorer.
No.
Being the best half-court scorer in Toronto means very little.
De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I'm
thinking.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know about that one. That's a maybe.
yeah.
Derek White.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I think collectively we all know. I always thought Derek White was growing his role. LeBron's better. Yeah.
Okay. Austin Reeves. Jared Allen.
No.
Norman Powell.
No.
Tyler Hero.
No.
Con Kneppel.
All right, come on.
Yeah. Khan's been sensational. I'm taking LeBron.
Alperen Şengün.
Wait.
Please.
Well, I did take Cat over LeBron, and
Cat's better
Cat
than
and Şengün
Şengün.
is pretty close.
Franz Wagner.
Yeah, France and Şengün, that's the tier that LeBron's in.
Brandon Miller.
Yeah, LeBron's better, bro. This is the point. What name you at? Like 40?
I'm at 40. Rudy
Yeah.
Gobert.
So you're at like the point where no.
Rudy Gobert. Denny Advia. Michael Porter Jr. Lauri Markkanen.
I'm taking LeBron over.
Jalen Williams.
J-Dub this year.
Well, JW, I mean, if
Last
you wanted
two
to say this year, then I guess fine, LeBron by default. He hasn't really played this year, but
Well, this year when he's playing,
I'm kind of just thinking of this, like, I think all of these players instead of LeBron, outside of like probably some of the guards, would be better on the Lakers instead of LeBron.
That's a different
Oh, you
conversation.
didn't ask
The
that
Lakers
question.
have their tailored needs.
You said who's better.
Okay,
They need
but
a center
still,
badly. They need
I think Michael Porter Jr. has been better this year than LeBron.
He's playing with nothing to lose.
Lauri Markkanen.
No.
yeah, I'm taking LeBron.
Zion Williamson.
He's been better than LeBron this year.
Julius Randle.
I'm good off that.
I feel strongly about this. Dylan Brooks has been better than LeBron this year.
I think that's fair.
And I think he
You
would
think
make
he's
the
a better
Lakers.
player?
He would make the Lakers better in place of LeBron too, if he was on the Lakers.
I agree with that because they
the Lakers don't really
his
need.
skill
Yeah,
set.
they don't need LeBron.
LeBron's skill set's like a little bit. It's like an embarrassment of riches in a way.
Aaron Gordon,
Please.
him or LeBron,
LeBron.
right? You think? All right.
Aaron Gordon's also missed half of the season. Unfortunately, his shooting jump was incredible, and it's unfortunate we haven't seen enough of him.
But on the Lakers, who do you think would be better, Aaron Gordon or LeBron?
Aaron Gordon.
That's 49 names right there.
But I didn't give you like.
But are
10
these 49 names that fit better on your Lakers or just better than LeBron?
I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a Knicks fan, but I understand what you're saying. I
don't. There isn't 49 players better than LeBron.
I think that
we disagree with like a third of those names.
Yeah,
I think that is you could make it twofold. I think that most of these players on their prior respective teams, you would probably have them over LeBron. But I think just making this a list into what players would be better on the Lakers, I think you could name like 50.
LeBron's a top 30 player for me. I think a lot of those names were players that you're tailoring for the Lakers specifically, but each team's going to have different DNA and different needs. I think one of the players you didn't mention is
wait. You
one
would
of the players you didn't
mention.
But the need. But here's the thing, John.
You would rather De'Aaron Fox on the Lakers over LeBron? What are we doing?
I said outside of the guard. 49. I said outside of the guards. Some of the guards.
Okay.
Because obviously the guards are redundant, but most of the forwards though.
Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
You haven't watched him play this year.
Yeah.
You haven't watched him play this year.
I think so.
Yo,
you haven't watched him play this year.
or LeBron?
On the Lakers?
Just in general, he's a better player right now.
Oh, LeBron's still a better player. You haven't watched Brandon Ingram
Two of the skills they need LeBron to have consistently is spacing the floor, shooting the three ball well, and then defending at a high level.
Brandon Ingram does none of that.
I know, but those are two skills that across the NBA those are the two skills that are most valued. So, like I think the Suns would rather have Dillon Brooks than LeBron. I think Dillon Brooks is a game changer. So you can at least name like 40 players.
But
no,
then, I mean, if that's the case,
you can name a lot of maybes in the perfect situation.
OG
You'd rather have him. LeBron's a better player. OG Anunoby may fit some more teams because his skill set is plug and play for 30 NBA teams.
It's like the Derek White conversation.
Yeah.
Where he fits more teams than most stars.
Most teams are looking for a great 3 or a great 4.
But right now, that's what you're looking for. I mean, can LeBron even be a 1 or a 2 right now?
I think he'd be a 2.
He's not consistent enough or plays enough to do that.
He has been banged up. Reeves has been banged up too, though.
Yeah, but he's been better when he's been healthy.
Yeah.
LeBron's tier to me is Scotty, Jamal Murray, Bam, Amen, Harden, and Siakam. That's LeBron tier.
I'm trying to look at like other teams.
I'm taking more Jaylen Johnson. That's tough. Jaylen Johnson's his production this year has been insane, but the offense is still average at best. So I think him and LeBron's in the same tier.
Looking at minutes, so you wouldn't take Rudy Gobert over LeBron?
I would take LeBron.
Right now?
I think I'd take LeBron.
Okay. I'm looking at the Rockets. It's really, you mentioned
Gobert's so tough to rank at for me.
He's an elite defensive player, but you know, the offensive stuff is fair to knock him for.
I mean, no, I would rather him for the Lakers.
Darius Garland or LeBron?
LeBron.
For the
I
Lakers?
think
Not moving you?
This is getting disrespectful a little bit.
Okay.
But Garland's been really good.
Ty Jerome or LeBron this year?
Shout out Ty Jerome.
Now we're getting disrespectful.
Yeah, we got disrespectful.
now we're
we
getting
got
disrespectful for sure.
at Brandon Ingram.
Trey Murphy.
Murphy almost broke a record.
He don't
this
play
year.
D.
Yeah.
No, he don't.
He don't play D.
It's straight through. Yeah.
Trey Murphy or LeBron?
Bro, come on.
Dude.
These are great complimentary players, but I feel like this segment's kind of crazy.
I feel like at this point in time, LeBron needs to be a complimentary player, though. So aren't we measuring him to other complimentary players? And who would you rather have compliment your players?
I think it depends on the roster because LeBron is still a super positive when it's him by himself.
He's number 2 at this point. That needs to be in like the right situation.
I guess so, John.
Like, bro, if looking at the lineup data, like Luka by himself, positive, extreme positive. Luka and LeBron, negative. Reeves, Luka, positive. But LeBron by himself is a positive. The only negative is Reeves by himself. So, like, LeBron can carry lineups still. That means you still have some high value star traits. I think it just super depends. Like, bro, the offense and the defense is still pretty good.
Hey, listen, not being top 40 at 42 years old is not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
how old is he? Like 42?
He's old, man.
Or 41? Something like that. It's not the worst thing in the world. But I think more so than anything, I think it speaks to the Lakers fit more than anything. Mm-hmm. If I can name a multitude of players, a laundry list of players that I feel like, wow, if they were on the Lakers instead of LeBron, they probably are better. I think I don't want to say LeBron is the only problem with the Lakers because he's not. They need better big men. They need better point of attack defenders. But the amount of money they pay LeBron so they can't get those other things is a problem. So if LeBron isn't going to be what they need to complement their players, then his salary does become a problem, an issue. So that's all I wanted to say. But shout out to LeBron James.
You just wanted to hate on Braun?
No. I made this list on a show the other day with my buddy Jack Hampton, and I was really just approaching the list off of, listen, who's been better this year and who I think fits better. And I'm like, man, LeBron James at 50, that might be a little too low.
LeBron's going to play his way up this speed, which is another part of this in the middle of the season, too.
Yeah, I mean, usually he turns up around this time. So, but that's my list. You guys didn't agree with most of it, though. All right, now we're going to talk about college basketball because March Madness is approaching. And Riv has a list of things that you guys should know about. And shout out to Poly Market because they have a lot of questions on March Madness on their website application right now. One of the questions is, which teams will be the number 1 seed? You have Michigan at 99%, okay. Duke at 99%, okay. Arizona at 99%. And there are 4 1 seeds, and this is where the percentages drop off. You have UConn at 18%, Texas Tech at 17%. Then you have other teams like Vanderbilt, Iowa State, Nebraska, Illinois, Arkansas, Purdue, and Kansas with 2% to 4% chance to be the number 1 seed in their conference. So, Riv, what is your seeding predictions? Who do you think gets those number 1 seed spots?
Okay, that's interesting. So you said Duke is at 99%.
Yeah.
All right, Duke, great team. Caleb Foster and Patrick. I do not know how to say his last name. Ngongba. If that's how you say it. I'm probably botching it really bad. They're going to be out for some time. They took a tough W, won by 1 point against Florida State last night or the other night, what it was. Duke, for me, is a lock. They have the best quad 1 wins. They have the best quad 2 wins. They've been dominant. They've beaten damn near every team you can think of. They've beaten Michigan. They've beaten UNC. Like, this team has really legitimately beat top teams. My computer flopped again. So they've been dominant all year. They have 1 loss, and that was like Texas Tech, a 1-point loss. Christian Anderson and JT Toppin went extremely insane. But I think Duke is a lock. UConn is the tricky one because I see they were the ones that didn't get a high percentage. They took a tough loss the other day, but their record has been pretty special. I think that's also one that I'm looking at could be a potential upset. They don't have a guy like Duke has in Cam Boozer, like how Arizona has in Brandon Barrios or Cole Pete. Michigan has a well-rounded crew. But I think they're still a really good team. As for Michigan, they just won today. They beat Ohio State, and we was watching the game for a little bit. A tough nail biter. As long as they win their conference, they're pretty much a lock. I think the tricky ones that come to play is if teams like Iowa State, who they're going to play Arizona tonight. If Iowa State beats Arizona loses this early. Iowa State's sitting at 7, I believe, in the rankings. Arizona's sitting at 3 or 4. If Arizona loses tonight and Iowa State wins, we could see a potential flip in which Iowa State can get a number 1 seed. That's why they're so low, because there is a chance that they do get it. It's all gonna depend on tonight. Houston's another one where they can sneaky get it. I wouldn't sleep on Kansas either. That's a team that defensively is one of the best defenses in the country. But in my opinion, I do think Duke's gonna get it. I think Arizona's gonna get it. I think UConn and Florida are tough because I feel like Florida started off the year really late, really weak, but then they started to build themselves back up. But I think those would be the 4 for me.
Okay, so it's Michigan, Duke, Arizona.
I'm going to go Florida.
And then Florida.
I'm going to go Florida. UConn has a chance. Yeah, UConn has a chance. I think Iowa State, Arizona, they play tonight. They got a rookie, a freshman in Brandon Barrios on Arizona, really good. One of the most efficient guards in the league. He's just super efficient from everywhere, short, mid, in the paint, from the 3-point line. Really good. I think he should be a lottery pick. Probably going to go to the late 20s. They play tonight. I'm excited to see that game, sleeper game, because if Iowa State, like I said, if Iowa State can win that game, they can potentially get a number 1 seed. And now having a number 1 seed is super important because then you play the 16 seed. I know we've seen it, but the chances of a 16 seed beating a number 1 seed really, really low. So you more often than not, you're going to the next round.
So what are your things to look for before March Madness? We're about like a week or 2 away.
Yeah, so you always got to look for, and I wish my computer would like just open up. You always got to look for the sleeper team. So the one that, I know this one story that you guys have been seeing, maybe in shorts, but it's Miami, Ohio. It's a team that was unbeaten, went 30-0 or 29-0, whatever it was. Then they lost to Maine, I believe, or they lost in their conference tournament because right now it's conference tourney time. And then a selection Sunday, I believe, is either this Sunday or the Sunday after. But right now it's conference tourney time, and they were undefeated all year. And a guy named Bruce Pearl. If you guys know him, do you guys know him? No, Bruce Pearl.
First time hearing his name.
Bruce Pearl coached Auburn. And Auburn was a stout program. He had them fuming. And apparently he did some funny stuff last summer where he waited until training camp to where guys can't really transfer no more to say he's retiring. And he gave his son the job. And Auburn's been terrible. You know, Todd Pettifer's there. Like, they've been awful, right? But he's been going back and forth on saying that, you know, basically this team shouldn't be in the tournament. Miami shouldn't be. They haven't beat nobody. And granted, those teams that, you know, they don't have the greatest schedule. They're kind of mid-majors. They're not going to play the top of the notch teams. Like, they're not going to play notable teams. So their schedule isn't going to be as strong. But, you know, if you win 30 games, you know, if you win 29 games, you go undefeated for a stretch of the season, I feel like you should get in. But that's a storyline that, you know, you definitely should be thinking about because they might not get in the tournament. The goal was they had to win the conference tournament to get in. They're not going to win the conference tournament. So now Selection Sunday is going to be a tricky part. I have it up to where they might not get in. And I think that's something that could be sneaky because if they don't get in, then, you know, you're going to look at it like you done did everything so far and you lose one game at the end of the year and you don't get in. But, you know, other freshmen you can look at, Keaton Wagler for Illinois. They're going to have a really high, I'm believing like 5, 6, 7. You know, that's going to be good. Like I mentioned, Arizona, Brandon Barries, Koa Pete. Look out for BYU and AJ. Obviously, he's a big name, but they lost Richie Saunders for the year with an ACL injury. So now it's really just him and Robert Wright, I believe. They're going to rely on him a ton. If anybody watched that BYU Houston game, they sent doubles a ton. He had a really good game, but it's going to be a lot on him. And everybody's looking at him as potentially the number one pick. I saw the numbers kind of sway on Polymarket to AJ. He could have a mellow run. Now, to have a mellow run, obviously, it takes extreme ability. It takes really, really high-end, top-notch performances every week. 6'10", has that type of ability. He's been putting up numbers. I think he's been awesome. Michigan, of course, you got guys like Yaxel Ademero, who's getting a real buzz, 7'3" guy that can pass, has nice touch to his game. Like I mentioned, Duke with Cam Boozer, he's going to have to kind of carry a load. And of course, also the Darren Peterson saga. Is he even going to play? I think that's the thing. What is that going to look like? But I think Darren Peterson had a struggling game last night or the other night, whatever it was. But Kansas, one of the best defenses in the country. Caleb Wilson also is not going to be playing for UNC, so that hurts. But Mikal Brown Jr. is preparing to be ready. Shout out to him, podcast
He's
fan.
A fan of the podcast.
Fan of the pod. Preparing to be ready to make a run with Louisville. And then, of course, Tennessee, Nate Ament is another guy who had a good game. And Vanderbilt is also going to be a team with Tyler Tanner. So there's going to be a lot of prospects to definitely look forward to in this draft, and even upperclassmen too. You just got to know what you're watching. But look out for teams like Northern Iowa and Maine, Ohio. If they're teams that can get in the tournament, you know, that can make a run. Also, shout out to Seton Hall. If they do win today against UConn, then they might be able to get in.
That's good. Right now on Polymarket, which one seed will get knocked out before the round of 16? So you have the round of 64 and 32. Right now, there is a 46% chance it happens. Usually every year we see it happen. So they're giving it about the public on Polymarket is giving it about a coin flip of a chance to happen that a one seed gets knocked out. And based on what you said, you felt like Michigan was the most vulnerable one seed because they don't have a true star, but they're well-rounded.
Yeah, I think it would, if I had to choose, maybe Duke or UConn. I think Duke is a team that's just injured the most, you know, unless they get Caleb Foster back or they get Pat back. I think that's huge. And Isaiah Evans, he's been awesome for them. He's getting propped up to Aaron Wiggins. That'd be his little comp. So them and the UConn, they haven't had that same fire like they've had in prior years, and I don't think they're as talented as prior. So this is a team I can also see definitely losing that spunk and losing early. But if I'm being realistic, in my opinion, I don't see none of these teams losing in the first two rounds. These teams have just been so dominant all year round. Like, this is as dominant as I've seen number one seeds in a good time. All four of these teams have just been putting on a show. So I don't see none of these teams losing early, but it's March Madness. You never know.
Anything can happen. That's why they call it madness. That's why it's madness in March. College basketball, the tournament starts in about a week or two. Make sure you guys tune into that. We'll be trying to cover it as best as we can as that time approaches, talking about the top prospects from the tournament as well. Let's get on to NFL because a lot of things happen. The biggest storyline that happened recently is that the Vikings signed Kyler Murray. This was one of the worst kept secrets. We knew it was going to happen. Once Kyler was released and a team could get him for a cheap deal, it was a no-brainer. There are 20 NFL teams paying their long snapper more than Kyler Murray. It's pretty insane. I mean, even though there are some doubts I have about him as a quarterback, you're not going to get this value anywhere. We saw Malik Willis sign for $67 million. We saw Daniel Jones sign for $80 million, with only one of those years being guaranteed. That's $40 million still. And Kyler signs for a fraction of that. And here are some things to note. Other quarterbacks to have 0 playoff wins before joining a new team: Drew Brees, Jim Plunkett, Steve Young, Rich Gannon, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford. Cardinals since 2023, they are 3-19 without Kyler. They are 13-17 with Kyler, and it's actually 2-19 without Kyler. So when he doesn't play and they go to the backup quarterback, they can't win any games. What are you expecting from Kyler in Minnesota? What is the Vikings ceiling?
Well, their ceiling's winning the division, and they can be a contender. But of course, I think this is the ultimate make or break year. There's no excuses. You have great weapons. You're on a well-coached offense, and you're now getting an elite defense. I know the Vikings let go of Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, but Brian Flores stayed. And on top of that, you added in Corey Trice, who I think he was great last year in Pittsburgh in a small sample of starts. Can he be even better now playing for Brian Flores? I think the answer is yes. Last all season, they signed Isaiah Rodgers. He played super well with more opportunity. For Kyler to have the setup that he has right now in Minnesota is great. But now the expectations are rising. I assume he's going to win the job, or JJ McCarthy. I expect this to be a competition in camp because they're trying to win games. I don't think JJ is a better quarterback. Don't see him winning. So to me, to be in a division where you have 3 other playoff teams, Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit's a playoff caliber team, that's 6 games a year where you're going to have to play at a high level. And we've seen Kyler in the second half of seasons not play his best football. There's some weeks where we see him play at an elite level, but he hasn't built off of that the following month and the following stretch of games. So to me, I think the theory of this sounds perfect. But to be quite honest, I have my reservations until I see Kyler play a full 17-game season at a high level. So to me, I think it's going to be a big upgrade, and I like this for the Vikings a lot because if it doesn't work out, so be it. You're not investing really a whole lot here on a 1-year deal. But I think it's good for JJ to have the competition because last year they practically handed him the job when he let go of Daniel Jones and he no longer had Sam Darnold in the building. And I don't think for any young quarterback it's good as have the keys handed to you because most young quarterbacks need a veteran or someone to learn from, someone that's going to push them to be better every single day. So for JJ, as someone that they trade up to get in the top 10, this is a wake-up call. This is no longer just giving you this job because last year the season largely got off to such a slow start because of their offense not being good enough. So I think this makes sense for everybody, and I'm excited to see Kyler play because I think he's going to play well enough to revitalize his career and hopefully get a payday next offseason.
So I feel like 2025 can't really evaluate K1. Banged up, didn't play too much. So I had to go back and I looked at 2024, and it's interesting because you look at Minnesota and they are a deep passing type offense. They like to get out, get their guys out in space, throw the deep ball. You look at Kyler Murray in 2024. In deep ball completion percentage, he was 19th in the league. In play action, he was 21st in the league. But in clean pocket completion percentage, he was number 9. So, and then it trickles with deep ball catchable pass rate, he was 12th. So play action catchable rate, he was 10th. So like K1 has, and then of course the supporting cast receiver target separation, he was 66. So that's obviously going to go up when you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, drop passes. He was 15th in the league. So that's middle of the pack, so of course that's going to go up. He hasn't been as efficient as you want him to be with the deep ball. Minnesota kind of plays in that hand. They want to do the deep ball. So I'm interested to see how Kevin O'Connell kind of adjusts the game plan, adjusts the script for Kyler Murray. I think he will, but that's also assuming Kyler Murray will win the job, which means...
You think he's losing the job?
No, that's my point, which means if Kyler Murray wins the job, JJ McCarthy, you have failed JJ and JJ has failed you, in which you have completely botched the top 10 pick and you traded down for him, so I think that's super important. Like you mentioned, their goal is to win a division. I don't think they play for anything other than winning the division, make the playoffs. That's the goal. If Kyler Murray can get back to that, just they don't need him to be elite. They just need high.
You get him peak Kyler.
I think if you can get
they go on a playoff.
I think if you can get top 15 level play from Kyler Murray, even top, because I think right now in the NFL, top 17, 18 level quarterback play is good. I think we have a lot of good quarterbacks. So if you can get that from Kyler Murray with Jordan Addison, with Jettas, with TJ Hawkinson, you can make things shake. I think right now it's just about, one, can he stay healthy? One, can he hit the middle of the field, which he's never been able to do? How are you going to adjust that and be able to play that? Jettas and Jordan Addison like to play outside. Kyler Murray likes to throw outside. So that's going to be something that kind of complements their game. But also on the other thing, can that offensive line in the interior be fixed? Is that going to stand firm? Is that going to be healthy this year? Can the defense trend in the right direction? They were a little bit of an older group last year, kind of fell off a cliff. Can the running back room really, give them a benefit, give them some boost? So I think it's on Kyler, but I also think it's on the team too. I think Minnesota kind of fell apart as a team last year. And with Green Bay kind of staying where they're at, they're going to get Michael Parsons back. You got, Detroit's going to stay where they're at. They're still going to have that team. And then Chicago, who's a team that lost their secondary, but I think they're still going to be a good team. There's not many world beaters where you look at anybody in the division like they made the splash move. They're going to be light year. Like they got a Maxx Crosby. They got a Trey Hendrickson. They traded for A.J. Brown. No, more or less, Green Bay lost a few pieces, didn't do a ton. Chicago lost the secondary. They're going to have to fix that. And then Detroit didn't really add too much. They traded David Montgomery, which tells us Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to be their lead back and their workhorse. So you have an opportunity to draft well, make some moves. I think if you can get good quality quarterback play, this is for K1, it can be good. And I think K1 picked the right situation to where he can maximize his play and get a big payday because he's on a one year, $1 million deal. He wants to get paid his next check, and I think this was the right spot to do it.
The Vikings are the best possible situation for Kyler, and he is twice as good as the quarterback play they had last year. When you look at the 2025 Vikings quarterbacks, they ranked 28th in success rate, 29th in EPA per dropback, and 29th in QBR. Kyler, over the last two seasons, ranks 10th in success rate, 13th in EPA per dropback, and 14th in total QBR. The upgrade they are getting from what they had last year to Kyler is astronomical. They are getting a quarterback that can function in NFL offense on a down-to-down basis, and this was a team that won 9 games last year. With all that being said, anything less than winning a playoff game is a failure for the Vikings.
Well,
they won 14 games with Sam Darnold. They didn't win the division because the Lions won 15 games, but 14 wins you the division 99% of the time. They moved on from Sam because he didn't perform in the playoffs, because he tailed off the last 2 games of the season, and they said, you can walk. J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be functional to the point that they splurged in free agency and brought in Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave. They also brought in Will Fries and Ryan Kelly to shore up the interior of their offensive line. So if J.J. McCarthy, in theory, J.J. McCarthy had a better team than Sam Darnold did. It's just he was so bad that he wasn't able to uplift that situation, and he wasn't able to even keep them steady at all. So they won 9 games in spite of all that. So now you bring in Kyler. The division is great. You get a home playoff win. But if you get that home playoff game, I'm expecting you to win that game too. Because if you bring in Kyler, the expectation is that we have to go as far as we went with Sam Darnold, but do a little bit more. Because that was your gamble when you moved on from Sam, was that Sam is holding us back. We don't want to pay him, and we think that long term we can be even better and go further without Sam Darnold. They shifted from JJ to Kyler. They got blessed with this because they're not paying Kyler any money. So that is the standard that I'm holding Minnesota and Kyler to, and I think Kyler can do it. I have question marks about how he will fit into the scheme because Kyler Murray is not an under center play action quarterback. He's a shotgun quarterback. It makes sense. He's on the shorter side. If you're under center, play action, you have your back to the defense. And for him, everything that he can be aware of, it matters. And as the NFL has evolved and quarterbacks needing to attack over the middle of the field more, that's also a question mark with Kyler, because you look at these numbers. Now, this is from Sharp Football. I want to reference them. And Deshaun Watson declined with Cleveland. I think we don't know what he did in his year off, but I think you can say the decline was because of the year off. Russell Wilson declined in Denver. His athleticism declined, but more so his play style. Defense has caught up to the play style of just chucking deep balls down the field and not being a complete quarterback. When you look at Kyler Murray, on throws between the hashes over the past 4 seasons, he's 43rd in passer rating out of 50 quarterbacks since 2022. And in third and long situations, Kyler's first down conversion rate was 24.7%. That was 34th out of 38 quarterbacks. Now, Minnesota passers have been under center on 46.9% of their snaps under Kevin O'Connell. That is the third highest over the last 4 seasons. Kyler Murray in his career has been under center on 14.7% of his career snaps. This is a complete stylistic change, and it makes me wonder what's going to change. Is it Kyler's play style or is it Kevin O'Connell's system? That is what I'm looking most forward to, because I think Kevin O'Connell is more than capable of shaping his system to fit the strengths of Kyler Murray, but it's hard for me to have a full-on takeaway of what I'm expecting when I don't know how the offense is going to look like yet. I don't know how they're going to play, but if it is to a play style similar to what Kyler's comfortable with, and now you're catering to him, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, Kyler Murray, he can achieve the heights that he once was at. He needs to stay healthy. What helps is that he's going to play in a dome in Minnesota, but I think the ceiling for the Vikings is we're looking at them at the end of next season and thinking this is a top 3 team in the NFC. That's what I think their ceiling is. If they just get Kyler playing at a high level, they get Kyler Murray at his best. First overall pick, drafted.
His second season was insane.
Drafted in the first round by the Oakland A's. MLB. I mean, top 10 pick in the MLB
So
and the
Still
NBA.
does, right? I'm pretty sure.
He does. They're calling for him.
What I'm expecting from Kyler, like if Kyler plays to his fullest potential, there is no reason why after this season we can't say he's better than Jared Goff. He might just be as good as Caleb, or he might be just as good, if not better, than Jordan Love. If he plays to his peak, there is no reason why we can't be looking at him after next season as a top 10 quarterback.
We've seen the moments, I think a year ago, is the Dolphin and the Rams game where he was sensational in those matchups. And I do tend to lean on the side that Kevin O'Connell is going to alter his offense to accommodate for Kyler.
Yep.
And I don't think he's going to line Kyler up under center half of the time. To me, it's more so the injuries that played a part of it, the supporting cast. We saw the Cardinals name Jacoby Brissett their starter. They lost out the rest of the way of the season, and now they have one of the highest picks in the draft. Kyler's talent is there, and I do agree with you in the sense that with injuries, you're with quarterback, a top 18 quarterback like Daniel Jones can be awesome and still someone that elevates your offense, especially with the right coaching. But to me, it really comes down to the amount of excuses that Kyler has gotten over the years, where I think people have given him a pass for the Cardinals underachieving and tailing off in the second half of the season. And this year, that cannot happen. I do tend to also think that there's parts of this Vikings offense maybe aren't the most complete. The offensive line this year was disappointing. The system's a little bit different than what he's used to. But I also believe you're not going to get a better situation than this. The overall layout here is really perfect, and the fact they signed a 1-year deal to me means it's prove it or shut it time. I think the talent is there, but we want to see it for a full season. And like you said, if they go out there and they win 12 games, they end up finishing first place in the NFC North, the expectation is to win a playoff game. The NFC is extremely tough, especially at the top of those top 4 teams. But with Kyler's ability, they more than have the opportunity to win a playoff game and go on a playoff run with injuries year in, year out, where it shakes up the playoff picture. So I'm excited to see this, but at the same time, there's a part of me which is just a little bit pessimistic based off of the way things end in Arizona.
Now, the next big time news that shocked us was that the Ravens backed out of their deal with Maxx Crosby. Now, he had a partial meniscus tear in January. He's recovering from that still. And a Cowboys doctor, Daniel Cooper, who Malik Neighbors, his ACL surgery was performed by Daniel Cooper.
A lot of Cowboy players.
He what?
He's done work on a lot of Cowboy players.
Yeah. I'm just mentioning other notable names outside the Cowboys because he's a Cowboys doctor. He also did the surgery on Mahomes' ACL as well. Basically, he took a look at Maxx Crosby's knee and gave the Ravens input, and the Ravens, with that input, were like, hey, we think 2 first-round picks is steep for Maxx Crosby with these concerns about his knee maybe long-term. So instead, they rescind the trade. The Raiders aren't really affected by this that much. They had a lot of cap space, but
they're affected by this, bro.
Somewhat, but
a lot.
They now they can still keep all their players they signed.
Yes, but the 2 draft picks. Anyways, I don't mean to cut you off.
The 2 draft picks is the biggest effect because the 14th overall pick, Raiders fans are already thinking Makai Lemon maybe. Yeah. We can draft him. They were looking forward to that era. But you get Maxx Crosby back. You sign Kwity Paye, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean. You bring back Eric Stokes. You trade for Teron Johnson. And then offensively, you sign Jalen Naylor. It's not a big needle mover, but then you sign Tyler Linderbaum, and he's the second best center in football. So the Raiders made all those moves, and you bring back Maxx Crosby into the mix. There's still excitement around the Raiders, but the Ravens pivoted because they saw a chance at signing Trey Hendrickson, and he is not the player Maxx Crosby is, but Trey Hendrickson gets signed to a 4-year, $112 million contract. And now the Ravens have the 2 first-round picks back. They have Trey Hendrickson, who will be their pass rusher. And Trey Hendrickson is older. He's 31 years old. This is a big contract for him. He's not a great run defender.
He's 35 when this contract's up.
Yeah, but
it's only $60 million guaranteed.
But you look at the Bengals the last 3 years with Trey Hendrickson off the field. The Bengals pass defense ranked 32nd in EPA per attempt, 32nd in yards per attempt, 32nd in passer rating, 31st in success rate, and 30th in pressure percentage when Trey Hendrickson was off the field over the last 3 seasons. When Hendrickson is on the field, all those numbers are league average, if not above average, with Trey Hendrickson, which means the Bengals went from an average defense with Hendrickson on the field on pass down situations to the worst in football when he was off the field. So the Ravens, even if he doesn't impact the run game, he's not the greatest run defender, they're getting one of the most impactful defenders in football, and you're getting 2 first-round picks back. I feel like for the Ravens, even though they got cold feet late, it's bad business. This was a good decision for them to make.
Yeah, we talked about it in the chat. There's some kind of reports speculating that the Ravens and Eric DeCosta got cold feet, which to me, when I saw this trade happen, I was late to it. I was shocked. I was shocked because I thought the package they gave up, so what you give up for Khalil Mack and Micah Parsons at 25, 26. And in Maxx Crosby's case, he is an absolute game wrecker. But to me, I saw this package and I said to myself, he turns 29 this year, and he's played through ankle and knee injuries the last 2 seasons. And it felt like what they were giving up was for the player that Maxx Crosby's been, but likely and potentially not the player that they're going to get. To me, I kind of agree, and I think they dodged a bullet in the sense that with Trey Hendrickson being 3 years older, there's the chance that maybe he ages more rapidly, of course. But I think having the draft capital that they're going to give up is smart. And Hendrickson this last year was great too. On the Raiders side of things, I felt like this was really awkward for Crosby and the franchise because of the fact, one, Crosby wanted to leave, and now there's this awkward kind of discomfort that he's coming back to a team that's not ready to win, and he's going to be 30 years old next year. And at the same time, for a young, rebuilding team to have 2 first-round picks in back-to-back and consecutive drafts, that's a big difference, especially when you have to overhaul the offensive line and you have the first overall pick and you want to protect not only Mendoza, but you want to set Bash and Genti. So to me, I felt like this was a big bummer because it immediately declines Maxx Crosby's trade value. Well, Baltimore sees him as damaged goods. Now, what's his trade value going to be? They're saying we want to keep him now. So I think it's a big bummer for them because of the opportunity cost. But I think all things considered for Baltimore, I think at the right time, the last chance that they did, they said, you know what, this is a risk that we're not willing to take. And I do tend to agree with them giving the capital.
Because is this the move that we're comfortable making in Lamar Jackson's prime? If this is the only move we could make, is this the move that we're comfortable with? They said no, and I can't blame them for that.
They wanted both, and it would have been awesome if they got both. Would have been a little stingy for sure. But first of all, I feel bad for Maxx Crosby, man. I'm going to talk about it later when we do winners and losers. He was going to be one of mine because, dude, to think you're about to go play with Lamar, you're about to play meaningful football, like you're about to be back to your ways, and then to come and find out your knee is still messed up, and you now are going back to the Raiders, a team who, you know, you haven't just been able to find any success. Well, individually you found success, but you haven't been able to, one, stay on the field and find any playoff success or even get to the playoffs with this team. That sucks. As for Baltimore, good pivot. Good pivot. Maxx Crosby is a better overall player. But I think as a pass rusher, you can definitely argue Trey Henderson may have him there. But Trey Henderson is a really, really great pass rusher, and Baltimore needed that, And I think getting to pivot from Maxx and to be like, all right, we're just going to get Trey, I think it's awesome because you're still getting a high-quality player. Like, people talk about the money, but it's only $60 million guaranteed. I think guaranteed money is where you need to start looking, and I think getting $60 million for his value, especially with the way kind of Cincinnati has tainted, his market, that's good value. And I think Baltimore needed to make a splash move. They needed to add some extra talent to that defense. They already had Kyle Hamilton. They kind of were getting guys, or they had guys last year that were kind of aging. And Trey Henderson may be aging a little bit, but I still think he has 1 or 2 seasons left in the tank. This is awesome for them. I think, Baltimore now, what are you going to do with that offensive line? I think losing Linderbaum definitely hurt, and Simpson too, I agree. Well, no, they brought him back. They brought John Simpson back.
John Simpson.
They brought him back.
Yeah, 3 years, $30 million deal. But Linderbaum hurts, and I think you got to fill up the offensive line. Maybe try to go get a receiver if you ever decide to go do that. But I think this defense, getting a guy like Henderson after losing out on a guy like Maxx Crosby, which the idea of him would have been awesome. It would have been incredible. But this is a guy that has been banged up for, the past couple of seasons. So you don't know what type of guy you were going to get. You weren't going to know how available he was going to be to this team. And that's something that Baltimore can't afford right now with Lamar nearing 30 years old. You got to start to think about life, in post 30 years old with Lamar. The athleticism is probably going to be going down a bit. You have to build up these teams to the best of your potential. And I think pivoting to Trey was dope. As for the Raiders, you said his Max's value might drop. I don't know. I've seen a few teams still call about him. I've seen a few teams. Maybe you might not get the same 2 first-round picks, but I do still see teams interested. I think the Raiders can still play this smart. If you want to move Maxx, I think you should move Maxx because now you see he could be damaged goods. Try to find the best deal available. But they made out in the offseason by bringing in quality players. You mentioned it. Nobody really splashy, but a lot of good quality players at their respective position. And you got to build up this defense. You had to build up this team in general. You had no talent prior to, like last year, you had Brock, you had Genty, you had Maxx, you had Colton Miller. Coming in, you had Geno. Right, cool. Coming in, you had Geno. And you had Jacoby Myers. That dwindled to where you lost Jacoby Myers. Geno was ass. Brock Bowers was injured all year. So Genty couldn't run behind that offense. So he had nothing. You had nothing. You had this one rookie. I forgot his name. He played really well at the cornerback position for them last year.
Darian Porter Jr.
Yeah, he played well for them in spurts. But for the most part, you had nothing. And now you've brought in guys who are either vets or have played well at their position, and that's what you needed to do. So I like the pivot that the Raiders did. I also like the direction the Ravens went.
And Maxx Crosby, now he's back to the Raiders. I don't know, but Maxx Crosby to me just screams team for life guy. Like, I like that he's back with the Raiders. The 2 first-round picks hurts because those are 2 potential Pro Bowl players cost controlled. That's the biggest thing about it. But you just look at the history of the Raiders and the draft picks after they trade a star. Yeah. Not the best history. No,
very poor history.
Yeah,
after that was a different regime though.
Yeah, it was
completely different.
After Khalil Mack, they completely botched their picks outside of Josh Jacobs. But Jonathan Abrams was a flop. Colin Farrell was a flop.
Draft era wasn't pretty.
Yeah, that draft era was terrible. But now speaking about free agency winners, this is where we're gonna end off the show with. I had a lot of teams. One of the teams I had that won free agency, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders improved their offense with Linderbaum, Jaylen Naylor, Fernando Mendoza. Now, I think if he is ready day one, the Raiders have put themselves in a position to be a surprise team next year. They need to still add to the offensive line, but Linderbaum was a great start. Exactly. And then defensively, really now this defense with Maxx Crosby added back to it feels overhauled because now you have Maxx Crosby, you have Tyree Wilson, your young player who he's versatile, can play on the edge. They brought back
Malcolm Kuntz for a reason.
Yep, Malcolm Kuntz comes back. You have Kwity Paye. You have your linebackers in Quay Walker and Kobe Dean, and you have your corners and Eric Stokes, who played well last year, surprisingly well. Darian Porter Jr. and then Teron Johnson. So, and then I like their safeties too. So the Raiders now have kind of like built this infrastructure of maybe they might be better than we were expecting them to be next year. They have a lot of pieces in place, and they're much better, much improved than they were last year. And then the other team I want to shout out is the Carolina Panthers signing Jalen Phillips. big time deal, a big deal, 4 years, $120 million. But to see him bounce back from rupturing his Achilles and all the injuries he's had to getting a big time payday, he deserves that. He's been really resilient. But then getting Devin Lloyd, who's an all-pro level linebacker, and especially at the price that they got him at. I mean, they're paying him the same annually as the Jets are paying Jamie Sherwood. So you now have an edge rusher who's really damn good, one of the better linebackers in the league, added to a defense that has Derek Brown, and you saw some flashes from Nick Scorton, and you have J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson in your secondary. Like the Panthers defense, they're making some really good moves, and they haven't done much offensively, but they brought in John Mechie, Bryce Young's former teammate at Alabama. Maybe that does something for the locker room vibes, but I think the Panthers, they came in with a clear plan of improving their defense, and they did just that.
Yeah, that's valid. I love what the Panthers did. I felt like the Jalen Phillips contract was on the higher end, but that being said, they got better. The first team that I had was one that I expect to go out this all season and splurge, and they did splurge. But I like the value of the contracts they're giving out. That's the Tennessee Titans. You signed Wan'Dale Robinson, which was widely reported, but I feel like the contract was pretty good. 4 years, $78 million, 38 guaranteed. I thought he would get maybe even more than 20. John Franklin Myers back with Robert Saleh, Alontae Taylor, who was really good in New Orleans. I feel like every time watching him, he's always had great route squeeze. He's always making plays. He's great against the run. And on top of that, Cordell Flott from the Giants, Jermaine Johnson through the swap with them. And then I also think they're going to keep Calvin Ridley, which I would also do personally because he has a $13 million dead cap if you cut him. And if I'm Tennessee, I'm not in the business of letting go of receivers that are going to help me develop Cam Ward. He was hurt this year, but the last 2 years, he was a really good receiver. So I feel like it'd be smart to keep him. $26 million cap hit for a good receiver. I think it's going to be smarter to keep him. The next person, the next winner for me is Daniel Jones. Getting a 2-year, $88 million extension. If it surprised me in a way, because if you told me that Daniel Jones would tear his Achilles and then the franchise would place all of their trust in him right after, I would have been a little bit surprised. But I feel like not only the GM and the head coach, but the entire Colts organization is double downing on Daniel Jones, being able to bring him back to the top of the AFC South. We saw it with the Sauce Gardner trade. And I think this contract's a vote of confidence that we believe in you. And we'll see what happens if he's able to come back and how early that will be. The next winners that I had, one organization, one player, the Los Angeles Rams. I think this is a very easy one. This last year, they were an awesome team, but they had two holes. It was the secondary and it was the special teams. They're swapping their special teams coordinator. They fired him in the middle of the season, but then to overhaul your cornerback room and the way that you did, not only getting Trent McDuffie, who I think is going to be a star for Chris Shula, but also Jalen Watson, too. He was good. I thought that was great. And there's so many others, but I want to highlight a player. I think DK Metcalf is a very big winner in Pittsburgh because we've seen this with the Steelers, this philosophy of neglecting the wide receiver 2 position for a long time. And last year, DK Metcalf's responsibility was to carry the passing game. Now you got Michael Pittman Jr., who's a consistent chain mover, a fluid athlete, someone who's going to open up the middle of the field. I think DK is going to benefit not only from that, but also Mike McCarthy coming in. So I feel like that was one of the more underrated players that's a winner this all season.
One of my winners is the Niners. And it's not just because of what they did in free agency, but I want to talk. They got Mike Evans. They brought back Dre Greenlaw, which I think would be dope for them. Brought in Nate Hobbs to kind of shore up with those young corners that they have. And they traded for Osa from Dallas. Yeah, and I don't know how to say his last name. Thank you, John. And I think that was huge. But getting Mike Evans, I mean, you haven't seen Brandon Ayuk play in damn near a year and some change. And like you mentioned, Brandon Ayuk is probably going to be gone. There's been reports saying he's going to leave this team and join the Commanders to play with Jaden. They've kind of always been hitting at that. So, hope the best for him. Hopefully he can be healthy because he was a great talent for this league. But bringing in Mike Evans to pair with Ricky Pearsall, to pair with Jawan Jennings if they do bring him back, to come in and play with Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy. Now you have a big 6'4", high-level receiver with an insane catch radius. It's going to make the job just super easy. Mike Evans still has a lot left in the tank. And on top of that, not just what they've done in free agency, but what they're bringing back. Like Fred Warner's coming back. Nick Bosa's coming back. Like this is a team that...
They got Dre Greenlaw too.
Let me ask you about that. I think the contract's great for Evans. It's only $60 million guaranteed, but are you a little bit worried given the fact he's 33, he's dealt with injuries the last few years, and this is a franchise historically with Levi Stadium, a lot of players have gotten hurt there consistently.
I am, but I feel like you're probably going to have that thought with everybody that comes through the Niners, just with the fact of the history that they've had, which they've always been injured over the past 4 or 5 seasons. We have yet to see, we've seen it one time where this team has reached the pinnacle of a season where most of them are healthy. And and they made the Super Bowl, So I think that's going to be I think that's going to be always the worry. No, I'm good. I think that's always going to be a worry with this team is just health. Can this team stay healthy? But we saw last year they weren't healthy. And granted, the schedule wasn't crazy. They got to 12 wins, and they won a playoffs game. So I think that's important. Another winner for me is, of course, going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, because how do we lose? No, I don't think we won, but I just wanted to highlight the moves we've made in terms of just moves. First of all, we got some cap space, and I think that was important. We've also made cap space for next year, which we're going to have to pay guys like QM, Cooper DeJean, which re-signed in Jordan Davis. I am super happy we didn't pay Jalen Phillips that money. I think he was great for us last year. I think we also have a stout defensive line where, as you can see, we can not make anybody, but guys tend to shine when they play with us. And I think paying him that much money where we can fill that hole for our team specifically, I think that would have been a little bit too much. But bringing in Tariq Woolen to be that number 3 corner or number 2, Cooper's probably going to stay nickel. I think that's awesome. Bringing in Jonathan Jones is just a depth piece. Bringing in Arnold Ebiketie, thank you, who was 11th in pass rusher rate. I had to look him up this morning. Really good in a short stint. And that's what we need. We need guys that can rotate in on our defensive line. We have Jalen Carter, the big star. We have Jordan Davis, who I think is trending to be that high-end or low-end star.
They paid him that way.
At least in the run scheme, he as a run stopper, he's really all-world. He's one of the best in the game. So you have guys like Nolan Smith that's going to need to step up. Bringing in him to kind of shore up that depth is going to be huge. Obviously, losing Nakobe Dean is going to be tough, but I think Jahai Campbell is going to be ready to step up to the plate. And then, of course, I liked what the Texans did. Just bringing in a couple guys on the offensive line that can maybe help Trent Brown, Braden Smith, Ed Ingram, re-signing Daniil Hunter, and then bringing in a lot of depth, bringing in Reed Blankenship. I think that's shoring up what they have and understanding that they need to make immediate changes in the offensive line.
I like what you mentioned about the Eagles developing defensive linemen, because when we went to the Super Bowl Media Row, I asked Ron Reed if there's a coach, one specifically, that they helped him develop and become the player he is. And he mentioned Clint Hurt, who's the Eagles defense assistant and defensive line coach, because they've printed out very good defensive linemen over the last couple of years. So I think it's kind of exciting for them to be able to consistently develop and replenish that talent through the draft.
Now, the Eagles, they made the biggest move they made, I think, was just Tariq Woolen, where the Eagles have the best cornerback trio in football with Quinyon Mitchell, who's an all-pro, Cooper DeJean's an all-pro, and Tariq Woolen hasn't been consistent enough since his rookie year, but he still is a high-level player. Tariq Woolen allowed just 0.5 yards per coverage snap in man coverage last season. That was the fewest amongst outside corners, and Woolen also forced a 31.3% completion rate playing man in 2025. That is the lowest among players at his position. Tariq Woolen, he might have not been the most consistent, but if he gets and plays a really high-level year with the Eagles, he can get paid next offseason.
Yeah.
And I think these players would trade choose Philadelphia because they know that's a place you can get paid. Jalen Phillips just got a bag. Milton Williams got a bag. Reed Blankenship got paid by the Texans, a good deal. Tariq Woolen is saying, my market wasn't the best out there, but if I play at a high level with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon, and I showcase myself
too, don't forget.
Yeah, as that outside corner, I'm going to get paid too. So the Eagles, they're getting a motivated player who can play at an elite level this year. That is a big time win for them, especially last year with their outside cornerback outside of Quinyon. It was questionable. That was one of the weaknesses that offenses would attack.
Really. One of the tough things is losing Christian Barker, though, to the Cowboys, because he's been the secondary coach. A lot of their position coaches have been tremendous. Jeff Stoutland leaves. You lose Parker, and that's someone who is the same exact years you add in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. But I think for Reek, though, it's a great landing spot. If he's able to have a good year on elite defense, his market value is going to shoot up next offseason.
Absolutely.
I wish if I was Philadelphia, I could have gotten him on a 2-year deal, but 1 year, 15, it's an investment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned some of your teams, John, with the Titans, and I've seen this sentiment echoed where people are saying Robert Saleh's just bringing everybody back from the Jets. I mean, look at the defenses he was putting out there.
They were great.
The defenses were elite. So if he's bringing back John Franklin Myers and Jermaine Johnson, Tony Adams at safety, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Robert Saleh's bringing in his good players from New York to Tennessee.
Shock level 0.
Yeah, and that's what Brian Dable has done too with the Giants, where you bring in Wan'Dale Robinson, you bring in Cordell Flott. You know, people are out here trying to spin this as a negative thing. Oh, they're bringing in players that were losers. No, the Jets lost because the offense was terrible. The defensive players were fine. And that is exactly what Robert Saleh is buying into. You mentioned the Steelers. You guys got Rico Dowdle, Michael Pittman. I like the Jamel Dean signing, who's younger than James Pierre, more proven. But James Pierre did have a better year last year. But I think Jamel Dean's still a really good corner.
For a full season, though.
Exactly.
He was great for a full season.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I think Jamel Dean is outstanding. And then you re-sign Asante Samuel Jr., that's a good swing on a corner. Yeah. Jaquan Brisker, 1-year deal from Chicago, young safety, who really has been inconsistent, but maybe he can be much better with you guys. Some other winners I want to mention. Of course, the Minnesota Vikings are winners. They signed Kyler Murray for pennies on the dollar. And James Pierre, I think, fits Brian Dable's scheme perfectly. The New England Patriots, Draymond Jones, they improved that edge. They signed Reggie Gilliam, fullback, to improve the run blocking. And then they took some swings on offensive linemen. Braxton Jones, tackle from the Bears, just to have some depth. Elijah Vera Tucker, one of my favorite signings of the offseason. I think he can be a Pro Bowl level guard. And now it moves Jared Wilson to center because that was where Garrett Bradbury was playing last year. Romeo Doubs, solid receiver coming into New England. And then they signed Kevin Byard, who was an interception machine last year with the Bears. So, you know, the Patriots secondary got better. They had a very underrated offseason. And out of all the contenders, I think they were number 2 in their offseason. Number 1 was the Rams, obviously, with what they got. You know, not only did they bring in championship experience to their cornerback room, but they signed a special teams linebacker from the Lions, who's one of the best special teamers in the league. So clearly they're not playing around about their special teams. I like the Saints, what they did. Travis Etienne, David Edwards, Caden Ellis. Was not expecting him to go back to the Saints, but I love that signing. They really needed a linebacker, and I think Caden Ellis is fantastic. And the Washington Commanders, they didn't do much our last episode, but they signed Odafe Owe, 4 years, $100 million. A lot of money, but he's a solid pass rusher. Then they also signed Amik Robertson to be a corner on defense. He plays with a lot of energy. Leo Chanel, arguably my favorite signing of free agency. He is awesome. Like, I think he was, outside of Devin Lloyd, the best linebacker available. He is elite against the run. He doesn't miss tackles. His coverage could be better, but I think Leo Chanel is awesome. They got Kalavion Chason from the Patriots, another edge rusher, speedy guy. They're emphasizing speed. He's solid as a rotational rusher. Chigo Okonkwo, the tight end from Tennessee, I think he has potential to be a breakout player. I've been very high on his athletic skill set and traits for a while now. Now he's paired up with the offensive coordinator that's going to try to utilize him, so I'm excited about that pairing. And then safety Nick Cross from the Indianapolis Colts, one of the better safeties in the league. So the Commanders improved the defensive line, their linebacking core, the secondary at safety, the offense. Rashad White, I guess, is a good depth piece, you know, but the offense is really where they need to improve. I think in the draft, or maybe throughout this, as this free agency just prolongs, another receiver added to the building and a true running back. I think a true RB1, because I don't think Ja'Cory's that. I don't think Rashad White is that. So right now, I think they've done enough defensively to try to shore up the holes they had. Now it's about the offense. And I want to mention one more team. I mentioned the New York Jets last episode, so I don't think I really need to do it again. I thought the Jets had a tremendous free agency period, but underrated moves. I think the Cincinnati Bengals free agency has gone underrated. They lost Trey Hendrickson, and I do think they should have traded him to get something back, but whatever. They didn't sign him back, but you signed Boye Mafe, Brian Cook, and then Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen is regressing, but Jonathan Allen as a rotational pass rusher still, I think is solid. But you bring in Brian Cook, who's the 4th highest graded safety in football, who is a sure tackler, is what their secondary really needed. I mean, Geno Stone missed a ton of tackles, so that's a big improvement. And then Boye Mafe, he was a rotational player in Seattle. he wasn't a full-time player, but he was productive. 13.2%. You look at him, he had a pass rush percentage of 13.2%. His pressure rate has increased every season of his career. His pass rush win rate last year was 19%, and that was 8th amongst edge rushers. Only 7 other edge rushers had a better number than that. He's really solid as a run defender, and the Bengals are banking on him becoming a full-time player. And the last time they banked on that happening was Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson wasn't a full-time edge rusher with the Saints, and they saw he could be. They banked on it, and he became an all-pro player. So the Bengals moved on from Carl Lawson, went to Trey Hendrickson, and now they're moving on from Trey Hendrickson to Boye Mafe. I'm going to trust the Bengals in this. I think he's a solid pass rusher, a solid run defender, and you now lose Hendrickson, but you bring in 3 quality defenders. Yeah. So I think that overall is a win for them. And then underrated moves, Kean Mitchell to the Chargers. They now have Vidal, Mitchell, and Hampton. That's a lot of good running backs. Kobe Bryant and Devin Bush to the Bears. I feel like that added much needed speed to their defense. And then I like Emmanuel Wilson to the Seahawks. Every time I saw the Packers play, Emmanuel Wilson was ripping off a run. He was really explosive. At times, he looked better than
as long as he didn't see the negative 20-yard run the rest of the time.
Yes, exactly.
That was impressive.
But I think the Seahawks, that is a good swing on a running back that I think they probably still need a better running back in the building, but maybe they believe in him. But those were the free agencies that I thought I was the most high on.
I like what you guys both said, especially the Mafe point, because Trey Hendrickson, you kind of made that comparison. He was on a Saint team that 2017 draft and nailed all of those picks, but the Saints really couldn't afford to bring him back and give him the opportunity that the Bengals would give him. Boye Mafe, in the same light, part of that 2022 Seahawks draft, Seattle couldn't bring him back. But now in Cincinnati, he gets the payday, it's more money, and he gets that full opportunity to start. So I think that's a very cool similarity there. The other point that I liked a lot was that the Commanders had a lot of very good under-the-radar signings. I know they've gotten dogged on because I feel like they paid away on the higher side of the scale, but all of the other moves that they made were younger players that fill a need. I think after Eckler's injury and Zach Ertz's injury, Rashad White and Chig Okonkwo were really good pickups, as well as some of those other additions in the defensive end. There's one more team that I felt like they had a lot of losses. Drew Dahlman retires. You lose almost the entirety of your secondary. But I liked a lot of what the Bears did. You mentioned some of the linebackers in this class. Devin Bush is one of the top ones. I think adding him in is going to be a huge pickup. And then also along with that, you adding Kobe Bryant at cornerback as well. They may have lost more than what they gained, but I think in the aggregate, the Bears are going to be just fine. And so I want to shout them out.
Kobe Bryant's a safety, by the way. You said corner, but that's fine.
I'm talking about DBs.
Oh, DBs,
they lost 3 or 4 DBs.
Yeah, but now,
Kobe Bryant can play in the nickel. He's played safety. So he has the positional versatility to play in multiple
he can
spots.
play nickel too. Yeah. So they have, I think the Bears, the defense was fraudulent last year. So I think, and you looked at every single contract the Bears defender got was a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. I think the league was like, listen, what you did was
prove it.
We don't really believe in it that much. Like Nashawn Wright got a 1-year deal from the Jets, and he was top 5 in interceptions. So I think the Bears noticed that too and said, listen, they might have gave us some highs, but we're not banking on this unit next year to do the same thing. So I think that was good on their part. But those were all the winners that I thought I had to mention. Let us know in the comments if you want to mention any other moves. But that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Patreon next week.
Yes, Patreon next week. Make sure you guys sign up to the Patreon. You get access to our Discord. And I'll be on 2K tonight. So I don't think this episode will be out tonight. It'll be out tomorrow. But I'm usually always on 2K, especially on the weekends. So if you guys are trying to play, just hit me up, man. I'm always open. I'm always down. But that's going to do it for this episode. You guys can follow us on Twitter at PickAsidePod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast. And we have a Facebook page at Pick Aside Podcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.